foul was cut, but Port still prevailed in Darwin.
That is an absolute beauty from him. Port Adelaide get their second win of the season and they're off the bottom of the AFL ladder.
They returned home to face the harsh reality of their financial crisis.
Port Adelaide and SANFL officials put on a united front but conceded they'll need help from the AFL to ensure the Power's survival for at least the next 3 years.
Carlton arrives in Adelaide full of confidence.
Chan using the body brilliantly to Walker, who rolls it in for a goal.
Their skipper is in the zone and may have his hands on a third Charlie. One thing's for certain, this will not be bruise-free footy. Port Adelaide are desperate to bring their club some hope with an upset home win.
Port make another move.
It's Twilight Footy on Australia's sports leader, Fox Sports.
Has kicked the goal to give them life again.
Going to be a big afternoon at the office for the Blues and for Port Adelaide, but in this day and age, every AFL game is a big AFL game. But the Blues come in 6 wins, 2 losses and a draw. They are top form material right now. Port Adelaide down the bottom end, 2 wins and 8 losses. And a hot start is going to be imperative. We'll check in with Glenn Jakovic shortly, but there might be weather on the way. Dean Brogan wins the toss and will be kicking left of screen.
And Dean Brogan's been such a fantastic leader in the absence of Dominic Cassisi, but he always has been, Jono, and it's just hard to imagine a Port Adelaide side now without this bloke in. And I mean, his time maybe finished at the end of this year, maybe one more.
Yeah, look, he's been fantastic. Certainly, who goes into the ruck next though? Is it a Trengove that needs to do that, to play a bit more around the ground, to then gain some more experience as this season goes on?
I think it is. I think that's the long-term plan, but he looks like he's probably better suited at being that second ruckman who can play as a key position as well. Maybe they'll be out in the marketplace looking for the number one man again.
Yeah, good point. If he does retire at the end of the season, he deserves to retire with a hero's farewell. Let's head downstairs. Glenn Jakovic.
Thanks very much, Dwayne. Well, just a weather update. It did say that the showers were going to come in late this afternoon, possibly around the last quarter. Well, I can tell you now, the cloud cover has certainly come in. The wind is west to northwest at 30 kilometres an hour, and it's starting to rain now. So earlier on, I caught up with Dominic Cassisi, the captain of the Port Adelaide Power, and he just mentioned to me, and good news for Port Adelaide supporters, he's making his return next week through the reserves, which is a Port Adelaide bye, and then hopes to come back the following week. But he said that maintaining their intensity has been their whole focus during the week after their good win against Richmond up in Darwin. They expect a fast start, but they know that they really need to get off to a good start here in the first quarter.
Thanks, Jacko. Players moving to position.
And coming in, you'd probably expect that. Corns on Mark Murphy.
Umpires for today's game, Hayden Kennedy, Matt Stevick and Brett Ryan.
So we know Murphy being tagged by Corns, and Carazzo's in the middle. You'd reckon he would get the job and pick up Travis Boak.
And looking on the wing now, Chaplin lining up on a wing all by himself at this point, with Armfield running with Pearce next to them.
We're underway. Hampson in the ruck wins the palm down. Carazzo gets a shepherd from Scotland, try to go backwards. Westhoff cut it off, goes to Broadbent. Port Adelaide on inside 50 early. Schultz couldn't get there to attempt to mark, and Dygan mops it up. Handballs to the boundary, and you heard a big round of applause there for Nick Dygan. He is back home to where he made his name, and last year kicked the game-winning goal here in last year's SANFL preliminary final to send Norwood into a grand final, and that was the game that got him drafted and changed his life.
Jacko, down on the boundary line, there's been a real cock-up with Port Adelaide. In fact, we'll come back to Jacko in just a sec, but Daniel Pearce was on the ground, he was off the ground. Now Daniel Motlop is on the ground, and he's running forward.
So they were a man down, essentially. Murphy pokes the pass. Arnfield slides into it and takes the mark. Came on early as the sub in the first quarter last week when Jordan Russell came off with a hamstring problem. Russell has recovered, and both starting today. Motlop just on. Close to the boundary. Adelaide trying to keep it alive initially, but In the end, O'Shea's handball found the line. We'll get a ball in.
We see Chaplin in the play there. He's the spare. He's starting on a wing and rolling back. Gibbs is the spare for Carlton. So you want to see Gibbs actually try and influence a contest, not just look for the handball receives all afternoon.
So saw Port Adelaide's bench 4, which is not the bench 4 they intended to have as their bench 4. Murphy, kick half smothered. Scotland. Sunshine and rain here at AAMI Stadium. We're getting the best of both worlds. They're playing on the fine side right now.
There'll be a rainbow up here soon.
Would be. And Mitch Robinson is feeling a bit of a groin problem at the moment as well.
You're onto it, Jono. There is a rainbow. just starting to break through and settling on the hills.
Brogan knocks it down. Corns back to Brogan. Trying to shuffle it out. Stolen by Robinson. Inside 50. Fist comes. And that was almost a shrug there. It's almost a lightning sounded like a hit. Maybe it's the power turning it on. Trying to turn it on at half back. Not breaking free at all, Carlisle. Comes to Jacobs. Rolls it away. Trouble. Yaron pounces. Can't quite collect it. Phillips manhandled him off it. Jacobs back in. Yaron back in. Judd back in. Hacked away by Jasper Pittard, but it'll be coming back.
Well, it will be, Dwayne, because Porter got extra numbers up at the contest, which leaves Carlton with a number of blokes free. So that quick kick out of that pack goes nowhere.
So Russell to Scotland and they're away. Almost exactly as Carlton wanted. A quick turnover, O'Halpin, because they then attack into a Port Adelaide defence that's not set. 2 Irishmen in the 22 for the Blues today. Zach Tui, new Irishman, making his AFL debut, and their old Irishman, Satana O'Halpin, born in Sydney, but let's not spoil the story. He was raised all his life in Ireland and about to line up for their first score.
1 metre, Jackson.
Takes plenty of time. Kicking into a slight breeze. He's got the distance. The breeze does bend it behind.
He always starts well, Satana. He always gets on the scoreboard early in games. It's just because he comes that hard straight at the footy.
Straight down the middle.
West off the target.
And in the end didn't quite reach West off. Motlop tries to mop it up to West off. He gets a kick away whilst on his back. Arnfield slick. Was poked back by Simpson. Half forward, O'Halpin about to pounce. Kicks a wobbler and it clean bowled Logan. Danger here, Trengove averts the danger. Now Port Adelaide do have one-on-ones for that clearing kick. Schultz made some ground.
And he pushed up pretty hard and he needed to, because every club needs an out player on the wing.
Well played by Phillips, used his body. Robbie Gray back in form in Darwin last week. Brogan, Kane Corns, chip to the midfield. Jacobs.
He's just not honouring the run. He's got players running on the outside, and he's, because of his left foot, he doesn't look there.
Shorts it to Phillips, spins, not a lot to go to, hands it over the top. Chaplin, a rare shot at goal, and shows that he's not quite used to it.
Great composure by Phillips, and I thought, Jared, just the fact that he could have blazed away, had a snap around the corner, but good vision. Handball over to Chaplin, who should have finished.
Why would Chaplin screw kick that around the corner instead of using a drop punt?
Because it's cool not to run straight at the goals these days. Gibbs to Brogan. You can argue with me if you like, Jared, but
well, it's got to be a reason.
Why wouldn't you run straight? That's the point. When you've got the space to do it. Brogan pumps it in the Westhoff direction. Motlop stays down and Westhoff wins a free.
Well, maybe it's what's trained one. I was watching the Crows practice before a match a couple of weeks ago, and each time they ran out on the angle, they all practiced doing the screw kick. So maybe it's the goal-kicking theory at the present time dominating, but you'd reckon that kick would have been far better served had he just run straight and kicked straight.
So for the first goal, Justin Westhoff, angle, all class to start for Justin Westhoff.
Yeah, great start by Justin Westhoff. He was able to put himself in a position for the contest here. Carlton had him outnumbered. You see Gibbs here. He was the one Thornton was looking to come over for a big spoil, but Gibbs just put too much body. Westhoff pushes forward, gets the free kick. and was able to go back with a nice finish and a great start for Port Adelaide. They're continuing on at this early part and what they showed in last week's game.
Significant player last week up in Darwin, just pushed up the ground from wing to outlet player in the defence.
And boys, just to add to that, their reason for their win last week, blokes like Gray, Schultz, Westhoff, Motlop, they really got on their bike, and their work rate in that first quarter was fantastic. That got them in a winning position last week, so they need to do that today again.
No clearance yet. Big pack around this ball, not coming out in a hurry. Pearce does get it out. Chaplin to the running big man, Brogan. Back to Pearce. Spears toward Gray. Bumped off it by Russell. Free kick against Jordan Russell. Play on advantage if you like, and Motlop likes.
There's a bloke deep in the goal square by himself, but Daniel Motlop hasn't turned around yet. He has taken the responsibility for the goal, needs to deliver.
And that's the point. If you turn your back, you're obliged to kick the goal. Daniel Motlop.
20 seconds, Daniel.
Port Adelaide, no doubt, thinking about an end of season clear out, and he wants to avoid the dumpster. That'll help.
Big start by Port Adelaide. Motlop getting on the board, converting well, but some serious news for the Blues, Jacko, with Jamison disappearing down the race.
Yeah, he came straight off, took his boot off, and they were just working on his ankle, and now he's gone down the race and into the change room. So I'll let you know the outcome, boys.
You're sensing something here, Jono?
Yeah, great start by Port. Jamison will be a big loss if he has hurt that ankle badly.
Just wait for the man, boys.
Normally they go down the rooms, they'll re-strap it, give him a chance. If that doesn't work, they'll bring him back off again. They might have to put a little jab in it to give himself a chance to get through the rest of the game.
And therein lies one of the problems with having a first gamer as your sub. You don't really want to bring him on right now. You don't want to use the sub anyway early, but first gamer you're unsure of in a hot kitchen. Simpson shoots it up, and it's a free kick too high. Carazzo's ball. Plays on quickly to Robinson. Runs himself into trouble. Bumped on the kick. Motlop. Gibbs outmarks him. Almost pulled a 50. Scotland, who's been in great form again. Short. Walker. Too far out. Knows it. Sees Waite. Puts it in his path. Waite almost, but not quite. It's a little pop pass in the Motlop direction. And that could be a good matchup between he and Bryce Gibbs. Motlop short. Westhoff. Floats it wide. Surgent back into the lineup this week. The one change from last week's winning team, Chaplin. And Motlop was waiting for a handball, and then he ran off. And Chaplin looked over and he was gone. Kicked to half forward. Strange that. Dygan couldn't pick it up. Yaron does. Gets a toe on it just in time. Carazzo to Scotland to Judd. Little fumble. And now he's gang tackled. It's still under him. Umpire gives him a break.
Terrific start by Port Adelaide. They're in and out it.
Leading contested possession 17-13 already and had 10 tackles for the game. So their pressure acts we spoke about before the game are up early.
Well, their best tackler, Matt Thomas, is on Judd at the moment. So he won't get many open possessions, you wouldn't think. And too many players around Walker for him to attempt to mark, and Pettigrew thumps it out.
It's most direction I've seen from Port Adelaide early in a game as well. Motlop kicked the goal before, the energy was up. Now all the defenders are pointing and making sure everyone sets up in the right positions.
Hampson, who knows Matthew Cruz and Robbie Warnock are coming back next week. So he has to have a big game again this afternoon. And he'll get another go at it here against Dean Brogan.
See, both clubs have got stewards on the interchange who are standing up, Jono, and they are absolutely determined not to let anybody run on the ground. It looks even more confusing than it often does.
Long kick inside 50. Schultz goes at it. Couldn't mark it. Phillips had it, tackled, lost it. Tapped away by Russell. Scotland, Thornton. Handball White from Curnow. Gibbs. They've created the loose man. White, although he ran back into a tackle and he's dead. Chaplin again, having an influence early. Doesn't go behind the mark, allowed to play on in front of the mark, sits it up, big flyers go up, again through Phillips, forced to lay a tackle, ball back in that pack, and it's not coming out.
What an interesting kick that one was, Jono. Just straight up in the air. I mean, I'm not sure whether they were chasing the big fly from Westhoff. He is the steward, though.
That's not any old steward. That's Rizza. That's their security man.
Okay, well, I'll tell you
Wait for
what.
it to start raining. I reckon Rizza will go back underneath the cover.
That's his spot for the day.
For Rosonico, Magpie and a Magpie with Collingwood for a little while.
Going back to that kick, though, he put himself under pressure by playing on in front of them, or played on in front of the mark, but bump weight out of the way. Go back behind the mark. Give yourself time and space to deliver the ball.
Perfect spot for a ball up for Port Adelaide. Tringo doing the ruck work. Manhandled a little by O'Halpin, who got a toe on it. Chaplin, he overran it too. O'Shea threaded his way through. Chaplin again. O'Halpin again. Bangs it in the Walker direction. Pettigrew right with him. Walker, great contest. Simpson off hands. Betts the first touch.
What a kick.
And didn't quite come off, but it was clever. Corns, the little 1-2 at Pittard, didn't work either. So Chaplin tackles there. The ball's in front of the mark, and he's allowed to play on in front of the mark.
Maybe the ump thought Gibbs was the one protecting the mark.
Okay. Pierce, slick, Robbie Gray. Hunts it down. He's got the free man. He can't get it to him. And we'll get the ball in. Robbie Gray, 4 goals, 2 last week. Back to his goal, kicking best. He has a rest.
Well, Troy Chaplin, as always, picking up plenty of possessions. He's just a loose man across the half-back line. Carlton preferring to take an extra man at the contest at the moment.
Play on advantage allowed. Murphy waltzes free. He's got the outlet handball. He ignores it, goes to Walker. And Walker can line up, and he's having an accurate year. 19 goals, 8 coming in.
And therein lies one of the issues, Jono, about having a loose man back. I mean, he was impossible to stop anything there, Troy Chaplin. The only thing they're good for is if the kick comes in as pressured and they can sit underneath it there. Mark Murphy just waltzed around, and Andrew Walker broke off his man. He could have had another 3 down there. He still would have marked it.
13 goalless minutes so far for the Blues. Walker gets them on the board.
So the issue is, do you man them up at the stoppages, or do you continue to hope for the pressured kick in and launch off half-back?
No, you'd still hope for the pressured kick in, especially at this stage, especially when Port Adelaide, as we mentioned before, they're up in contested possession. Their tackling's been good to start the game. But this one here, Walker's lead was perfect because he started going back hard towards goal. Pettigrew thought it was going to go in long, and then he was able to come back at the footy for the short kick, and great use and great vision from Murphy.
And boys, Jamison straight back on. He came out and got a couple of laps, run-throughs, and replaced Corazzo. So he's straight back in the field to play.
Thanks, Jacko. Tight contest.
You can see Chaplin on centre wing there with Scotland. He's done this the last 2 or 3 times we've been watching them. And then he just pushes in behind the ball.
Scotland gets the kick away. Garlett didn't really know if he wanted it or not. Shades of last week in a way, when there was an incident where he didn't really know if he wanted it or not. Kick away comes from O'Shea. Half forward. Thomas attacks it, knocked away from him. Ellard mops it up. Dygan wide. Thornton had to go inboard, and all the Blues players were leading wide. Eddie Betts attacks that nicely. Okay, Garlett's away. Has a bounce. Runs to 50. Shorts it. Tried to be clever to Simpson. Dives in, tried to rake her head high. Hardler for Port Adelaide. Toes it towards the line. Blues players don't chase it. They appeal for the free. Had they chased it from the outset, they might have cut it off.
Well, Matty Thomas here just showing everybody why you don't take chest marks. Because it allows the bloke behind to spoil, as Brett Thornton did quite easily.
Tringove and O'Halpin both tied up. Hartlett had a piece of it. And was stripped from him. Boak to Pierce to Westhoff, bounced off the chest. That one you kind of can justify going for on your chest if it's a mongrel and it's coming hard. Corns on the wing. Short Thomas needs to hit a chest. Surgeon, well, it was almost a bump ball. Surgeon claimed it, and the umpire gives him the benefit of the doubt.
Good quick movement there by Port Adelaide. We're able to get the free man, get the overlap footy going, and Thomas playing on after his mark allowed this setup. And good short again.
Yeah, to Schultz, and he takes the pluck. Might have caught Jamison napping there.
Well, essentially what they've done there is just pass the responsibility onto a better shot at goal, because Schultz is a pretty fair kick at the big sticks. They're doing pretty well on the Chris Judd factor. He's only had one possession to take.
And he's gone deep in the forward line, Jared, just to throw the tag off Matt Thomas, and Pettigrew's picking him up right now.
You mentioned Schultz being a good kick. He's kicked 10 goals won this year. 3 goals won last week. That'll bend for him a little. Doesn't bend enough. But he has become critical to Port's chances of kicking a competitive score.
Well, the windsock Jacko suggests the wind travelling basically straight across the ground. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, definitely straight across, yeah.
Russell to himself. Short. Robinson's ball. Plenty of players around him, but they were manning up, and Chaplin gets another easy possession. Almost passed it to him. And he goes back to go forward. Pittard told to go there, didn't have much time.
Yeah, Jacko, that security man, he fell over then trying to stop somebody getting on the ground.
Carlton sprints free. No one in the square. Can go for goal himself. Gives it over the top. Walker outside of the boot. Wants to roll it home. And it works for him. Right on the money.
Well, it's a bad turnover by Port Adelaide. Maybe they were distracted as well by Rizzo. He's putting blokes in headlocks, just stopping them to get on the ground. Surely it's not that complicated, Dwayne, but maybe it is. There's the bad handball, all brought about by good pressure from the Blues on that occasion. Jono?
It was very good pressure. Look, Carlisle probably should have got the ball to boot and just cleared the area, gave it back to Pittard, who then basically had to throw it on the hands, and great interception.
And Jared, I think Rizzo's going to go down and just change his footwear. I think he's going to get some boots just so he can hold his ground, because he did go to ground pretty easy there.
Oh, yeah. And great running there by Andrew Walker, who was involved in putting on the pressure and then just kept charging forward.
Oh, forwards love it when they can see that it's going to turn over. Away they go.
So you're conceding as a forward that you work harder when you know you've got a chance of kicking a goal?
Both ways.
Oh, yeah. From the ball up, Hampson gets the handball out. Robinson, Carlton finally have got their game in motion. Judd lays a tackle. O'Halpin for the lead. Can you believe it?
Why wouldn't you kick a drop punt in that instant?
Drop punts aren't cool, Jono.
It's like he tried to half dribble it, half kick it in the air.
It's a nice little snaffle by Chris Judd to set up that shot for Satanta.
And he'd be just as disappointed as every Blue fan watching that. Ball out of play, will get a ball in.
Maybe he thought he had the round ball in his hand, because you do have to kick that one around corners, Jared.
Well, there must be an excuse there somewhere, Jono. We'll keep looking.
And he can win you a game, Satanta, but he can also lose it for you in the very next moment. And that's the beauty of him in a way. Ellard tackled, going nowhere. David Ellard started on the bench. Now Carlton's greatest ever number 46 in their history. Previous it was John Warden, who played 9 games in it. David Ellard now in game 14. Making that number his own. Scotland, Carazzo, Thornton, Carazzo. And the Adelaide handball, hoping for Murphy, tucked up against the boundary. Off Ellard's knee. Or was it? No, lower than that. Must have been. It's out on the full. Thomas. Again, just sits it up in hope. Modelot might need to go, and he stays down again, trying to be disciplined. Thornton. Handball's out. Gibbs. His hacks are clear. Maybe Newt Judd's down there. Pettigrew. Judd. Good battle. Pettigrew gets it away from the Judd area as quickly as possible. Chaplin, a floater. And that might be okay.
Well, he's usually better than that Troy Chaplin. He had a couple of players to pinpoint. Fatigue just starting to set in for all players, though, with about 6 minutes on the clock to play, nearly 7. They've been working pretty hard, and he hasn't been rotated yet.
21 minutes on the clock. It's transpired. 6.5 to go. Judd with 1 possession so far, now having a breather.
And Carlton have responded to Chaplin being free. They've got Scotland as they're free, or trying to release Scotland, so his use of the ball going forward, centre forward, will be valuable.
Hampson with the flick down. Pearce made the contest in the middle of 3 Blues. Kane Corns backtracks. Boak, Pearce, trouble, Pittard, torpedo, Motlop, and he just did well. And he takes off. He knows he's got an open forward line. One-on-ones everywhere. Needs to pick one. Robbie Gray's the one he's after. Robbie Gray's pass is magnificent to Westhoff. Bounces in. Open goal. Poetry.
Well, right now, Bryce Gibbs has got his hands full. Daniel Motlop has played in front, and he's won a number of contests that have set up some goals. Here he is just in front. I liked his decision-making here. He bursts and plays on. And, OK, there's a bit of pinball that favoured Port Adelaide, but Westhoff, geez, there's a good cut, wasn't it? Really good cut to open up the goal face.
And a drop punt at goal.
What was that?
2 goals to Justin Westhoff. 2 goals to Walker at the other end. 6-point lead, Port Adelaide.
And Motlop was getting some treatment before the game, and I thought I didn't know what we'd get from him on the back of maybe that injury that he may have had, but look, he's started on fire today.
Just back on.
Yeah, and Hamish Hartlett is responsible for him. You'd reckon Matty Thomas will come off the forward line and go straight back to Judd.
Thomas comes at this ball, and he ducked into that Robinson, but he gets away with it. Matt Thomas not all that happy. Robinson had the momentum. Gibbs. And sits it up in hope. Walker from 4 deep, couldn't mark it. Trengo tried to knock it on. Waite made a clever contest and now wraps it in there. Keeps it for a ball up, and this would be a good spot for a ball up for Carlton. It's a long way out to try knocking it through. Robinson having a rest after getting the bump to the head. Yeah, that was a free, no doubt.
Carlton need to stop a third man up here for Port, where they'll be able to get up and get the ball going their way.
Brogan, pat down Judd, danger, spins, kicks, touched over the line, ball in.
And here's Motlop before the game. Look, getting some work on the glutes. He had some stuff through the hips. Obviously a bit tight in that area, but it's freed him up because he started the game very, very well.
And a bit of pain there with that piece of work. Phillips attacked it but lost it. Gibbs sides his way through, gives it back. Oh, that won't do Curno's shoulder any good. He may have hurt it. He's down. Phillips gets the handball out in the meantime. Harlett runs. Open forward line. Really working Boak. He's the man. Ball needs to be precise. It's in the Boak direction. Carazzo with him. Boak and Carazzo both spectacular there. Thornton short. Scotland.
The kick was too high, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a poor kick. Boak did the hard work. The ball just had to go as hard and as fast as it could to the goal. Yeah, had to be lower, as you said, Jono. Then a nice little bit of volleyball spiking, Dwayne, from one blue to the next.
Almost the mark to Curnow. His shoulder looks okay after that bump, even though he's got them strapped. Armfield, Yaron, and he gets away with some toe. O'Halpin will do. Inside 50, over O'Halpin's head. Thump toward goal. O'Halpin about to pounce. It's rolling. Tries to get there for the soccer off. And it's through for a behind.
Here's the kick that we're talking about. It just was too high. He needed, the space was in front of him, not above his head. It's not the strength. He's a running player, needed to go long and take it out running towards the goal. Jeez, I tell you what, Michael Pettigrew nearly created mayhem at the other end, just knocking it towards the goal.
He was a long way away to try and rush it behind.
It was a gift for Satana, just couldn't quite get control of it.
The release handball superb. Logan set it up. Pearce with the pass. Schultz's direction. And they played a couple of deliberates like that last night. They couldn't possibly play that one. But he's hobbling a little bit at the moment, Jamison. There's the bump on the shoulder of Ed Curnow. First game back from shoulder injury. Tapes both shoulders, so you don't really know which one's the sore one. Phillips, 50 from goal. Left foot, centering kick. Westhoff. Good Clark takes off and kicks his third.
Williams is the danger man. he's so difficult to match up on, Jono, because he can play midfield and he can also play key position.
Yeah, look, his work rate's very good, and that's why he can get up the ground and get back. I've liked the work of Phillips early in this game. He's actually competed quite hard, did the discipline thing there, got the ball to the top of the square, where Westhoff was able to capitalise with a good grab against a good opponent.
So 3 goals for Westhoff, and you're right, Jono. Simon Phillips has got some craft about him. This is the 3rd list he's been on. He was on Sydney's list, played 5 games for the Swans, and was on the Gold Coast's short list before being traded to Port as part of the Nathan Crackett deal. 24 years of age, so he comes in with experience and not a light body, a 24-year-old's body, even though it's small. Secondary ball up with 3:21 on the clock.
I see Carlton pushed a player deep into their forward line to knock off this loose man behind the ball. Simpson's gone to essentially centre half forward.
Motlop just reached in there rather than running at it.
Which is a good move because Simpson's a pretty dangerous player. Now Troy Chaplin is dragged out of that hole. You see him just top the screen there, running there with Simpson.
Murphy wide, rewards Judd, who worked hard to get it wide. Walker should go here, big leap and a good mark. And he, a chance to match Westhoff at the other end with his 3rd goal. And time has justified Andrew Walker being the number 2 pick in the 2003 draft. He was 2nd pick behind Adam Cooney, but when you consider the pick straight after him, Colin Sylvia, Farron Ray, Brock McLean, Kepler Bradley, Kane Tenace, Raphael Clark, David Trotter, Riley Dunn. Better than most of those, if not better than all of them, Andrew Walker. And he kicks his 3rd.
Well, it's been the move forward because, as you said, as a defender, he was a tagger, would play on some of the opposition's better midfielders, better half forwards, and then since going forward, just his competitiveness has stood out, and that's the main feature of his game. His work rate's there. He leads straight at the footy, and he's been able to lose his opponent 3 times today already.
He's got off to a great start. He is a strong mark. He does often attempt the mark, as many Carlton supporters will tell you, but fine player in the making.
"29 minutes gone, opening term. 16th versus 4th on the AFL ladder. But a lot closer than that. Port Adelaide at least coming in with winning form last week against the Tigers. Murphy wide, Ellard. Clearing kick, but it's too wide for Waite and Walker. Carlisle decides not to take possession.
Geez, the Blues have got the numbers here.
Walker clean pick up on the run. Scotland to set it up. Back to Walker, back to O'Halpin, back to Carazzo, so back to the wing, but it's still their ball. Carazzo with a long pump. Betts can't run at it and get a jump. Motlop lending a hand. Simpson almost wrapped him up. The goose stepped away from him and then rolls it through legs to Corns. Not many players can kick that ball.
Well, Port Adelaide have got 4 blokes in the defensive 50 to Carlton's 2. When Mark Murphy ran forward, kicking that ball, there's effectively no chance for the Blues. It was always going to come back.
How much Daniel Motlop can't do. Murphy over the top. Waite cut it off handball inboard. Still dangerous. The Blues have the numbers. Judd goes with the pass instead of the attack at goal across the face and out of place. Goal kicking hasn't been the best this year. Chris Judd has kicked 4 goals, 10 coming into this.
Watching O'Shea on Walker, there's no body pressure, none of that going on at the moment. He needs to get some strength in his game. Otherwise, they need to make a change there and maybe put a Chaplin or someone back onto him to create that physical contest.
There's a knee injury here. It doesn't look good either. And Brogan's down and clutching the knee. That does not look good. The umpire might have to stop play here. The horse, I should say, 32 years of age, turns 33 years of age later this year, Dean Brogan. He's been out with Achilles problems more than anything this year, but that knee injury does not look good.
It's
The umpires don't have to stop play here with him hobbling off.
We're starting to get a trot up, which hopefully is a better sign.
So time back on. We're back away. Broadbent trying to kick it out of the area. Still in a dangerous spot. Waite attacks it. Caught. Handballs it up in the Judd direction. Hartlett for Broadbent. Clearing kick needs to be good. Schultz flies. Marks. Solid hands. Down to 50 seconds.
Trengove has come on into the ruck.
And Trengove will have to go at this. It's wide. And it wasn't. It was on the full.
There's Rizzo.
Well, he marked it.
He nearly did. He didn't go to ground at least.
No, he's improving.
Simpson's short.
He's got the long stops on there.
All the way back to Curnow. Trouble. And he threw that away. Port Adelaide's ball.
Dangerous. They got the open paddock.
Clock continues to roll as the ball comes back to Motlop.
They want to balk maybe.
He does balk. Robbie Gray's the target. Good kick. And not quite the mark. Russell. Maybe time enough for the Blues on the rebound, although Carazzo goes back. Thornton, not enough time now, you wouldn't think. Ball on the outer side. Russell, bouncing ball. Down to 10. O'Halpin steps through a couple. Can't find a target just yet. Not sure who he was aiming for. Hampson will do. But it's quarter time at AAMI Stadium. Good crowd in. Port Adelaide Magpies playing the curtain raiser for the Port Adelaide Power. And they're turning it on against the Blues. They lead by 5, but Brogan looks gone. 4-2-26 to 3-3-21.
Fell over there trying to stop somebody getting on the ground.
Garland sprints free. No one in the square. Can go for goal himself. Gives it over the top. Walker outside of the boot bubble home. And it works for him. Torpedo. Motlop. And he just did well. And he's off. He knows he's got an open forward line. One-on-ones everywhere. Needs to pick one. Robbie Gray's the one he's after. Robbie Gray's pass is magnificent. To Westhoff. Bounces in. Open goal. Quarter time at AAMI Stadium, round 11 clash, and Port Adelaide lead by 5 points, 4-2-26 to Carlton, 3-3-21, and 2 players have 3 goals to their name, Justin Westhoff and Andrew Walker. As we head downstairs, Glenn Jakovich.
Thanks very much, Dwayne. Just an injury update. We obviously saw Dean Brogan came off just before quarter time, which looked like a knock on the knee more so than seeing his knee buckle, which I think is actually a good sign for him. As you can see here, he gets a knock on the left knee. Nothing really untoward or anything that looks like that's going to buckle there. He was in excruciating pain, came off. The physio looked at it, and then at quarter time, he ended up joining the midfield line coaches to listen into the address. So he looks like he'll continue in this game, boys.
Well, it's good news for Port Adelaide. Jacko, thanks for that. Carlton huddle just breaking as we speak. I presume they're not playing Angry Birds out there, guys.
What are they showing on the iPad, if that's what it is?
That'd be some midfield. Is that some midfield work? Is that forward? They're the forwards, so they're just probably looking at some structures, looking at the way the ball may be coming inside forward 50. More setups though, because you look across it, Betts has only touched it twice, Garlett twice, and Waite twice. So Port Adelaide, their direct opponents are on top, but they just need to get control of Walker, and I don't know whether a Chaplin or someone needs to go back to that position just to create some strength around. And as we see now, Chaplin has walked towards Walker, which I think is a better matchup for Port Adelaide.
Well, they're starting Mark Murphy at full forward. Everybody else up the ground. They've got him on Pettigrew.
And strangely enough, I think they're starting Chris Judd on the bench. Hartlett wide. Broadbent couldn't trap it. Gibbs goes back. Had Carazzo and used him as the dummy. Sends it back towards the wing. Chaplin attacked it, dropped it, goes back, knocks it on. Waite, he was tracking him. Yarran. Walker. Long way from home. 3-goal opening term for him. Hampson and Brogan's back on and looking okay. Hampson close to the line. sees it out. What a warrior Dean Brogan has been. And there is Judd starting on the bench.
No hold the box.
Brogan, short throw in, favoured Brogan. Robinson, Hartlett, and because of the short throw in, he'll have to earn his money again.
Well, for Port Adelaide, Chaplin started well. He had 8 possessions, as did Broadbent. Murphy's the one. He's had 9 so far for Carlton.
Another pack around it. Stolen, given up nicely to Yaron. Short, pocket. Betts just knocked it on. Walker, centering kick to the hot spot. Port Adelaide with the numbers there. Bounced off Corns' head. Halpin bounced up and kicked it out of bounds. Is that deliberate? There's nowhere near the goals.
You see Corns going back here. Clips him on the melon, Jared.
Yeah, it's a dangerous one when you go for the mark. You're the third man up and you miss it. You generally leave someone down below.
Trengo third man up. Halpin gets another chance. Gives it up to Simpson this time. Good option, although getting back Alapate Carlisle. Logan on the outer side, couldn't mark. Thomas shrugs Arnfield. Boat. It took a while to give that back. Surgeon wide. Well played. Boat along the wing. Away from Jamison to Brogan. He's got 3 to beat here, but he sets it up. Phillips is away in space. Rory Gray's peeling back to the square. He might leave the square open. Handball's inboard to Schultz. Made him stop. Poor option. Jamison. Thornton. Jamison. And they've messed that up, Port Adelaide, big time. The fans know it. Hampson out of sight. Good pluck.
The option was the right one. Just the execution, Dwayne, was the problem with that.
Alapate Carlisle and a mark to wait. You've got to know your limitations of the old Clint Eastwood. If you know you can't do the left-handed handball inboard, don't attempt it. Short. Pearce.
You'd expect at this level that that gets nailed.
Yeah, that's true.
Matty Primus would be disappointed with that.
A lot of players can't handball and can't kick with their opposite foot, which is hard to believe sometimes. Pearce hugs the boundary again. Phillips couldn't quite half volley it. Ball hits the deck and Dygan superb once again. To another round of applause. Play on of its advantage, and it wasn't. Robinson fumbled it. Blues trying to get their momentum back. Gibbs. Donnell boy back home in SA. Would have grown up with an inbuilt hatred of Port Adelaide as a kid. Robinson. He's held up.
There's no level of dislike, Dwayne. It just goes straight to hatred.
I think there is, Jim. Maybe when you're 1 or 2, but they get that out of you fairly quickly before you ride a bike.
Okay.
Short, Gibbs. Port Adelaide flooding back now. Plenty of players in the zone, so they have to go outside it. Simpson. And he can take on Brogan.
He's got the big ruckman forward. He can bomb to the square.
Murphy sidesteps. Wants a centering ball. Shorts it. Garlett. Toe poke. And Logan equal to the occasion.
I reckon Hampson's entitled to be a bit disappointed. He's there. He's pushed down there. He was had a mismatch. Hartlett wasn't going to stop him if it goes on top of his head. And he's fighting for his future here. There's another bloke called Cruiser coming in. We know that the number 1 ruckman is also out.
Yeah, Robbie Warnock.
Yep.
Hopefully will overcome his concussion. Logan. Wide. Good pluck. Schultz. His hands are spectacular.
Cruiser got through second game.
Yep. You'd reckon he'll play next week. I mean, this is Hampson's big chance. It's him or Warnock. And if he kicks a goal or 3, he probably stays in.
West off wide. Surgeon waited. And Yaron cut it off. Surgeon's playing for his life as well. He's been in and out. Didn't play in the win over Richmond in Darwin last week. Hampson again. Brogan. Hampson almost took that out of the ruck. Robinson. Carazzo. Tucked into the boundary. Arnfield to set it up. Goes with a handball option. Didn't have a long kick option. White does exactly that.
There's a bloke on the ground, Wayne loose. His name's Judd.
Halpin knocks it down. Garlett. He ignores everyone and kicks a behind. Yeah, that bloke's not a bad player. If he's loose, you wouldn't expect him to be loose for a long time. That number 5.
They just snuck him onto the ground when the Blues started getting control of the ball. He wasn't brought into it, but this
handball
only needed to be centred, and all of a sudden Judd becomes free.
Yeah, and that handball would have been, Jono, as you say, to a guy running forward toward the goal. Surgeon to Motlop. Tells Boak to go and run. I'll kick it in front of you.
Little hands there.
Yeah, just
Gibbs.
enough. Bryce Gibbs. Boak. Pokes the kick to the pocket. It sits. Russell made a contest. Broadbent superb. Thought about opening the angle. Didn't need to.
Nice counter-attack by Port. Coming out of defence. Garnett. Well, maybe next time he'll centre the ball. But the other end of the ground, this was a smart kick by Travis Boak. Smart player. It's been off the chain the last couple of weeks, having a real influence. And this bloke rarely gets a rap, but he often plays a darn good game, Broadbent. Jono, very consistent player.
He has got to that position early as well. Worked hard to there. He could have got used a bit earlier.
And just to reinforce your point, guys, Matthew Primus agrees with you. He likes him as well. He played the last 9 games last year. Most of those when Matty Primus was at the helm, and then turned up this year and has played every game this season. One of 7 Port players to have played every game. Carlton's had 13, so they've had a lot more in a settled lineup. Port Adelaide, because of their erratic form, has been rotating players to try and get the right mix. Brogan with the free handball to Pittard. Short, Schultz. We know his hands are good. And for young kids out there, there's been a lot of commentators talking about players electing to take the mark on their chest. That's one of the reasons why you don't. You can get the arm slap free if you can't mark it.
Well, Port did it well then. They got the mismatch because you got Jamison back in the goal square. He was on Gray. So they did it well then. They managed to do that in their setups and get the desired result.
One hand high, one hand low. Drop. It works for him. Distance not a worry. It's kicked 2 behind, so it's not working quite yet tonight.
You sensing anything, Jono?
Look, it's all Port at the minute, this second quarter. Certainly they came out early in the game and started well. Carlton were able to get back into a little bit, but Port Adelaide again, and we speak about their winning contested possession still, their tackle count is still right up, so they're in some good form at the minute.
Good mark, Hampson. Gave it off quickly to Ellard after the Russell kick in. Murphy coming off a 31 possession game last week, so he's in form. Back to Ellard. And now Betts there. Look like they're getting their mojo back here. Wait, short. Poor kick. Corns fell over it, didn't get a free. Judd, worst possible man to be knocking it up to for Port Adelaide. Ellard through the legs almost from Curnow. Wait, couldn't mark, bounces it towards goal, and Halpin couldn't quite, neither could Betts, although it's a kicking in danger free against Eddie.
It's the area where they've got major concern though, Carlton. They are just dysfunctional up forward at the present time, not working as a unit, as I've seen them do so often this year. They've gone inside 50 significantly more than Port Adelaide, and yet Port Adelaide has shown them what to do when it gets in there.
Kane Corns. Schultz will have to motor to make a contest here. It hits the deck. Clean bowls a few. Scotland read it nicely and kick just as good. Oh, bang! Ellard hit. Was in the marking contest. Chaplin.
Satana deep.
Walker backs back. Just flicked down. He got all ball there, Phillips, so no free for an arm knock. Brogan through some traffic.
Fast breaks on again, Dwayne, if they can get it forward.
Yeah, that was a poor kick though. Blues with the numbers right around it. Thornton, Gibbs, chips it wide. Scotland again. All one-on-ones ahead though.
Major opportunity wasted there from Port. They're setting up essentially to play fast break footy, and that had to be a longer kick.
Halpin, Eddie Betts was in the right spot, front and centre, but couldn't quite collect it in the parachute shorts.
And Jared, just to add to the earlier comment about Carlton's forward line breaking down, Eddie Betts has only just had the 3 touches, so he certainly needs to get into the game.
What do you make of the shorts, Jenna?
They're massive, aren't they?
Yeah.
Each to their own.
Yeah, almost Looks to be a rapper as well as a footballer. Walker knocks it on. Boat, Pearce, Broadbent, missed the target. Thomas mops up that mess. Pearce, Surgeon on the overlap. Pittard had to wait. In fact, it was Jacobs. Simpson ran him down, wraps him up, and he's gone. Little fumble from Ben Jacobs, and that's all it takes.
We just didn't attempt to get the ball moving. Gave the umpire no choice but to ping him.
Simpson short, Curnow.
Just two players for Port Adelaide, forward of where this ball is at the present time. They're sucking everybody back into defence and then trying to run it through and get the fast break operating.
Gibbs, short, and again had to bounce it to a target. O'Halpin, a twist, a turn. He's not sure what he's going to do, so how does any teammate know? Gray to Broadbent. Now the fast break again. Phillips goes to ground. That doesn't help the fast break. Jamison in a spot of bother himself. Tackled, dropped it. Crowd wanted ball, but you're allowed to do that in this day and age. You drop it as you feel the contact in the tackle, and you've got an out.
Phillips did it well in the end. Going to ground, he seemed out of the contest, was able to spring back up and create a stoppage for his side.
Brogan tried to rip it out of the air. Adelaide falls on him.
It's where if Port Adelaide were a stronger side, I think we'd see Pearce play a lot more footy. Even if he was playing midfield, he'd push up and rest in that forward pocket. Even as a full forward, a small full forward, have the advantage of somebody with super pace just makes fast break footy that more effective.
Well, was that ball? Crowd wanted it. Umpire was blindsided. Don't get it. Robbie Gray gets a pat on the head from Daniel Pearce.
And a real opportunity here for Port. Daniel Motlop's just gone to the goal square. He managed to get Cade Simpson 101 if they had got that clearance from that last stoppage.
Two ruckman tie up. Gray again meeting the sandwich. Judd extracts a kick. But again, it was under pressure, and all of Judd's possessions have been. Alapate Carlisle, that's horrendous. Blues ball. 33 plays 22. Umpires demanding some action. Brett Ryan on the spot. Massive pack waiting for this ball to come down. Judd, rare fly in a pack, couldn't mark it. Aidan Kennedy to ball it up.
Port Adelaide did it well then, Jared. They were able to get man on man, which just restricted Carlton's movement with the Simpson kick. He had to go long to a contest.
Murphy hugs the boundary. And Alapate Carlisle with a half volley. Toe pokes it away. Clever pick up by Jacobs, but he turns it over. Simpson's away. Uses his speed. Needs to hit a target. Has another bounce. Might go for goal himself. It's long. And it's wide. And it's through for a behind.
Well, once again, he missed the obvious target. He probably knew himself he wasn't going to make the distance. He had Satana just on the inside of him. And here's the fast break.
So Cameron O'Shea straight down the middle. That was the set play. He needs to hit his target inside 50. And he does to Phillips, who says, let's calm it down, boys. I've got this kick for the biggest lead of the game. Simon Phillips, as I said earlier, 24 years of age. He's originally from Sandringham in Victoria. Had to be around the block to get his AFL opportunity. 3 goals, 2 so far this year. And from 45 into the breeze is a little trickier than we expect.
It was good movement though, and that was the pleasing thing. They were able to get the ball in from full back and get a score at the other end.
Armfield. Thornton. Called to go, heads to Walker wide, sits it on him, and he's equal to it. And takes off. Landed like a cat, uses his speed, bounces to the wing. Try and set it up, he's got one-on-ones ahead. Well, he got there handsome, but he couldn't complete the deal. Pittard goes to ground, knocked out, but straight to Alapate Carlisle. He hits Surgeon. Back to Pittard. Wants to keep it alive, strangely enough, and doesn't in the end. We'll get a ball in.
That was really interesting watching the way Tom Logan defended Garlett there. Garlett took him to the ball. He wanted him to fly. and he just stayed down and watched him only. And fortunately, he made that choice because Hanson tapped the ball to where Garlick could have run onto it nicely.
Robinson inside 50. Wait, good hands. And he'll kick from 50. 11 points the margin. Blues have not led since the opening minute of this game when they kicked the opening behind. We're now 16 minutes in, second term.
Just a good win from the stoppage.
It's been 50-50 a goal this year. Really sinks the slipper into that, but it's wide. So 13 goals, 13 so far this season for Jared White.
Let's just have a look. Tom Logan. There he is. He watches him. He takes his eyes off the ball. And fortunately, he does that because Jeff Garlick perhaps could have got away anyway with pace, but he fumbled as well.
Big clash, no mark. Hartlett into traffic. Matt Thomas short. Motlop wants to get and go, and he does. Sits it up a little on Surgeon, and he nearly needed one after that collision. Yaron uses some space. Betts yet to really get into it. To the open side they go. Scotland can get and go. Leads are plenty. Perfect pass. Walker. He juggled that outside 50. He's got 3. This is long for 4. All the way home. 4 goals to Andrew Walker.
Mr. Walker.
He's been great. 4 goals in the first half so far. Look, he's had 5 disposals this quarter, and he's working at 100%, Jared, so just an effective game so far. But it's more, once again, he's led from the goal square there, so just used his speed to come straight at the footy, saw that the goal square had opened up, and went long and backed himself in. His confidence is high, and that showed in that kick.
Yeah, great conversion from Andrew Walker. Set up nicely by Heath Scotland off that half-back flank. How long's he been doing that so well?
Trengove couldn't pull a free. Carazzo pulls the ball, gives to Robinson. High. Carlisle crashes the pack. Boat collects. Caught. Pearce. He's got the outlet man on the other side. Hartlett can go. Not a lot to go to, so holds it up. Jacobs. Corns. Pokes it 30 metres toward Phillips. Almost the second grab. Schultz dives in to make a contest. Needs to get a handball out. Corns goes back in. And a high tackle gives away a free. About the tick into time on. Second term. Yep.
Cameron O'Shea, Jono, on Andrew Walker. He's often being played just as a full-back. O'Shea, one out. They've isolated him a couple of times now, and I think the Blues are pretty happy that they've stayed with him.
Yaron, the loose man, runs the wing, runs to half forward, couple of bounces, might go for goal, takes them all on, shorts it 15 metres just. And the mark taken by Waite about 30 metres out.
Well, Waite will be looking for this one for his own confidence. Missed the last set shot that he had, but his kicking efficiency is going at 20% at the moment, so this is big for his own confidence with the foot today.
Just 15. Each one of the mowing strips is 12.5 metres.
Glad you mentioned it, Jared. He's bending it back. It's coming. Not quickly enough. And you can't afford your full forwards, your goal-kicking lead-up targets to be erratic. Carlton 4 goals, 7 to 5-4. Broadbent the target from the kick-in. Westhoff had a quieter term after a 3-goal opening quarter. Motlop virtually playing on the wing at the moment. Corns hemmed in. Hartlett the target. Gibbs read it well. Tried the don't argue. Gives it up. Carazzo. Blues full of run right now. Centering kick. Poor option though. Port Adelaide with the numbers. Phillips tried to tow it away. The cavalry arrives for the Blues. Hard contest. Big ball to be winning this. Gibbs back with the flow. Dygan. O'Halpin. Can he set it up? Eddie Betts on the outer side can get and take on Pettigrew. shorts it, slides it through Murphy. Poor kick. They're away there. Chaplin on the outer side. Broadbent his target. Bouncing ball. Dygan right with him. Boundary line if he wants it. Pretty close to the deliberate if he takes it out. And he gets the benefit. He did that extremely well. He didn't tap it over. He tapped it to the line so he could run it down.
I think he reacted to the crowd himself then and seen that they were going to go up to call for deliberate out of bounds. Picked up his pace.
Travis Boak won't get credit for it. Maybe he will internally, but that chase on Yarran earlier saved them a goal. It was a magnificent individual effort.
Hampson was manhandled in that marking contest. Umpire says there was nothing in it. And here's the big man, Sean Hampson.
Spot on, Jared, with that call before with Yarran, because he kept him on his left side and he had to just hit that short. Wait, misses the goal.
Big couple of minutes coming up here before half-time. Judd back into the flow, but the handball poor, and every possession for Judd has been under immense pressure. Matt Thomas, Trengove, back to Thomas. Judd tracks him down, but he's getting another possession on Judd. And he gets it right here. Logan, back to Thomas, who's a little spent right now. Tries to handball out to Pittard. Betts with the steal. Turnover goal. Garlett short. Horrendous kick. What was going on there? Pettigrew to Chaplin.
Well, it was out of jail. You're right. Matt Thomas just was almost totally fatigued. He lost the plot as well. Missed those around him. And got it back.
Schultz to Robbie Gray. No handball target, back to Schultz. Westhoff run down and dropped it when Robinson tackled him. Got away with that. Phillips spent that before it earned it. Robinson back with the flight. This game's lifted a cog. Scotland now with 3 to beat. He's got a little bit of help. Turns, 3 come at him, so it means he's got spare targets surely. Curnow, short, play on not 15. Boak, who's worked his backside off. Robbie Gray, Schultz, goal! Robbie Gray called Schultz in and he nails it.
Well, they get the goal on the back of finally kicking the ball in. They rushed it in. They've been trying to work the ball through hands under pressure, and that hadn't been working. Boak identifies it, gets the ball on the boot quickly, pushes some forward momentum on the footy, and the result is a goal, and a great goal in the end of Port Adelaide. Schultz on the end of it, able to capitalise, read the ball coming in off the boot quickly, smart forward play.
And it's a moral victory for Port boys, because Jeff Garlett should have nailed that one the other end.
Yep.
They go the other end, Port, and nail it, which is good leading into half-time for their confidence.
Really got some good contributions out of Thomas and Boak, putting plenty of contested ball through the middle of the ground.
Ellard, that's a 70-metre bomb. Chaplin went back, couldn't take the mark. Simpson, 50 from goal. Judd tried to side his way through. Now Garlett, he owes them one. And that's another disastrous option. Chaplin. In fact, I think he owes them 2 or 3. Boak. 3 minutes from half-time. Corns. O'Shea. Westhoff. Scotland with him. Good hands. Well, he took off there. Well, he thought about it. Sure, if Port Adelaide are thinking of taking 2.5 minutes off the clock here, but Chaplin across the face of his defensive goal to the outer side. Hartlett. Seagulls are coming in, which means there's no doubt more rain on the way. Big side, AAMI Stadium. Chaplin. Trengove. Down to 2 minutes. Motlop's calling for it wide with the long kick. O'Shea instead. Motlop tells him to hold on to it and wait. Port Adelaide can sense Carlton getting numbers back, just zoning. And Port Adelaide won't give them what they want, and that is a 50-50 ball. Motlop does now. Reach for that. O'Halpin, Motlop, little toe on. Ball in.
Just going back on Seagull theory, Dwayne.
Yep.
It's been said in my ears just there that the other theory is that they know that the half-time siren's about to sound, so the chips are about to emerge.
Maybe you're right. You have to think like a seagull sometimes to understand their theory. Ball in, Thomas. And it's a free from the back. And there might be some pickings in this last minute and a half. 31 plays 40, 9-point Port Adelaide lead. And they're led by 5 points at quarter time.
Another goal here, and they go in with a pretty healthy lead, Jono.
Schultz can't get a run at it. Good mark, Jamison. Needed to hold. And you doubt the Blues could run a minute and 15 off the clock either. Waite's going to have to go here. Waite, 3 to beat. Through, Trengove. Hampson. Good tackle, Trengove initially. Waite. Now he's got Betts on the overtop. Betts will run onto it. Bouncing ball. Cruises in. And goals against the flow inside the last minute.
Well, Chaplin had to kill this ball here on centre wing. He was the third man in. He was the one who had to get the ball out of play. Carlton were lucky in the way because Hampson sifted off a contest that he really shouldn't have here. You see Hampson right back, sifted off Trengove, and then was lucky enough and strong enough to get a handball across the weight with a good kick into Betts and got it over the top and get a goal late in the quarter, which really hurts Port Adelaide because they worked hard to put themselves in a good spot in this game.
And that'll give Eddie Betts some confidence going in at half-time as well. He was having a lean night.
Came from nowhere. Sure, a real error by Port. They had the numbers. But Hampson did well to shrug the tackle and get it moving.
So, no need to tell you, big 52 seconds coming up here. Now there's a holding free, and it'll be Hartlett's ball, and yet again Brogan's down with that sore knee. Heads wide with the ball. So Port Adelaide were going direct earlier in this half, and now going backwards to go forward again. Corns to Westhoff. Thornton right with him. Great contest. Westhoff with 3 to beat. Carazzo back again. We're down to 28 seconds. Judd inboard. Wants to take it on. Maybe still another chance for a Carlton score. Surgeon cuts that off. Back to Corns. Another turnover. Wide. Good play. Thornton had the protection. Didn't really need to go there. Judd, Thornton, Jamison, Dygan. Down to 6. So half-time here at AAMI Stadium. And after Port Adelaide led by 5 points at quarter time, the Blues well and truly fight back late in the term. Port Adelaide did open up a 2-goal lead. It's 3 points right now. Port Adelaide 6-4-40. Carlton 5-7-37. Half-time, AAMI Stadium. Ebo, he is not a dirty word. Obviously a fan of Brett Ebert, wants him back. I did speak to Mum on the way in. Lovely lady she is, and said the son shouldn't be far away. And you know that it must be Brett Ebert they want back because it's got the number 33 on the poster. Russell Ebert would be handy. Dean Brogan would be handy if he can stay fit in this game. But have a look at this. You can talk about the ethics of having in-room cameras, but he is putting on a brave face out on the field, given that this vision was inside the rooms at half-time. Great warrior Dean Brogan about to go at the ruck contest after something was bothering him at half-time, to the point that he was almost unable to run out with the players. And there is the man who's not a dirty word. Ebo's in there amongst them. Front and centre. And the umpire front and centre to get this second half underway. 3 points to margin. Murphy tried to get the clearance. Carazzo does. Scotland. Little nudge as he kicked that. Walker couldn't take the mark off some hands. Logan threads it wide. Pittard bounced kindly for him. Needs to be good with the kick. Pearce really motored to get that. Nice clearing kick, and that's spectacular. Over the head of Judd to his running man Thomas, who looks around to see where Juddy is. Hands it back. Boak short. Phillips half forward. Good build-up. Wants to plough this to the top of the square. Getting back Gray. Almost Sportbo's own man Broadbent. Lays the tackle on Scotland. Didn't appear to get a kick away there.
Looked like he just let it hang in there, Dwayne.
Yaron. There's the crowd voice their disapproval. Yaron goes backwards. And Jamison takes the mark. Last line of defence.
It was certainly raw, that footage we've seen of Brogan. I've been watching him in the start of this third quarter. He is hobbling around a little bit out there. He's not moving freely, and we do know he did have that bad Achilles, certainly at the start of the year as well.
And Hampson takes off on him here. Knew the chase would be difficult. Kick not so good. And the mark to Trengove. Pittard uses some toe, got caught. Chaplin waited for the bounce. Knocks it on. Trengove gathers.
So come out fresh. Port Adelaide, they are really showing Carlton how to run.
Corns long, Phillips, Dygan. Got a hand on it, Dygan, spoiled. Phillips from the boundary, rolls it towards goal. Scotland waiting for it. Didn't want to take it over. Didn't want to concede it behind. Dygan, Thornton, corralled by Phillips. Back toward the boundary. Kept in by Westhoff. Pokes it to the top of the square. Schultz hands on it. Couldn't take the mark. Robbie Gray about to pounce. Taps it to his own advantage. Broadbent. And they can't capitalise on this hot start for the second half.
No, they can't. They've certainly had all the play. You look at Phillips pick up here. Gave one around the ears, but then was able to get a shot on goal. But Westhoff's kick just had to be more of a dart. He put too much air on it again, which gave Carlton the opportunity to come in and create a spoil.
Brett Thornton. Bryce Gibbs. Cautious start to the second half for the Blues. Carazzo, Carlton's best player on their list before Juddy arrived. He won the best and fairest in 07. Juddy's won all three since. Sits it up. Hampson. Off some hands. Walker. Sidesteps through a couple. Kick not so good. And Pettigrew couldn't mark it. Logan to try and mop up his mess. Garlett traps it. Satana O'Halpin on his own. Gets there in his crutch. Great spoil, Carlisle. O'Halpin. That's a knee away. Again, no holding the ball free. If they change the rules at half-time. Oh, there's the evener upper free. Too high.
Well, I think he might have taken him a bit high, but Satana looked as if he had control of that footing.
How was that not holding the ball? Had prior opportunity. Pearce. 4 points the margin. And again, flies it up long. Schultz, he hopes for. Gibbs is with him. Coming hard, Phillips.
They're going hard at it right now, Jono. Port Adelaide.
They are. They've come out firing. And that's been the nature. That's been what they've focused on there. And you even cop a boot in the head. But that's commitment, putting your head down over it.
Well, the Carlton players, or a couple of them, accused Melbourne of playing Bruce Free football last week. Won't be any accusations against Port this week the way Port are playing. A flick up from Judd, deemed a throw. And Matt Thomas has done a good job on Chris Judd. He's just joined us. Juddy, 11 possessions so far. And Matt Thomas is 12. Make that 13 now. Motlop. Walker was ready for that.
He was.
Again, Surgeon can't go at it. Yaron does, drops the mark. Surgeon runs him down. Russell, back pocket. Yaron sold that dummy to Graham, takes him on. O'Halpin, Motlop with him, takes the mark on Motlop, and that's 50 surely.
Need a bit more run out of Yaron. When he gets it, something happens, but he's just not finding it enough.
O'Halpin, not helping. Put it in front of Carazzo, but on the deck. Arnfield scoots away. Pass needs to be good. It is Garland. 4 points the margin. 50 metres, and it's against, who's that against? Logan or against Thomas? Well, Thomas may have encroached in the 5 metre area, and this will give Carlton the lead for the first time since the opening minute when they kicked the opening behind of the game. Waste no time and drills it.
Well, once again, off the back of a Yaron run, they've come up with a goal. It was Matthew Thomas, which is unfortunate given the game he's had, but you've still got to play by the rules, and that ain't playing by the rules. He's gone within the 10-metre protected zone, trying to look for Chris Judd, and has given away the 50.
the first 4.5 minutes of this third term. But Carlton's kicked the first goal of the quarter, and the free kick, the 50, was definitely there. Brogan back into the ruck against Hampson. Robinson shoots it out. Westhoff couldn't pick it up. Murphy does. Thornton pops it to half forward, and well played. Getting back with the flight. Pittard had to put his body on the line. Robinson's down. Looks a little hurt.
In that contest, he just hit his head on the ground, Duano, but he's up and about.
Hartlett wide. Jacobs inboard. Handball back from Logan was clever. Jacobs takes them on. Sets it up on the head of Schultz. He forces a punch from Schultz. Phillips shrugged the tackle the first time, took them on. Had to be ball. Crowd wondering why. That's the first time they've seen one this quarter. That one was certainly there.
You mentioned Yarra before, Jared, and I watched him then, and Surgeon's his direct opponent playing defensively on him, which you have to do, and was able to get him back to the goal square. You think of someone like an Andrew McLeod who would never allow that to happen. That's what Yarra needs to start to develop in his game. Put himself in the positions where he can start to dictate the contest.
Walker from 4 deep couldn't take the mark. Robinson looks okay, got the handball up. Hanson back. Curnow close to the boundary. Jacobs kept it alive. Pearce, Harlett, Logan. Not a lot to go to. Brogan will do. And he bangs it inside 50. Schultz can't get a run at it. Dygan did. He'll have to rush this through surely. And he does, cleverly.
Brett Ratton would have to be considering the sub, I reckon. Jono?
Yeah, Jacko, can you see any movement down at boundary level?
Well, he just had a quick word to Andrew Moore, and Andrew's just doing some warm-up run-through drills on the boundary here, but yeah, just watch that.
Yeah, so the two subs, Zach Toohey for the Blues and for Port Adelaide, Andrew Moore, so neither of them used yet. Thornton. It's wide. Trengove and O'Halpin. Trengove chopped an arm. Crowd getting a little restless, but the last few frees for the Blues certainly been there. O'Halpin. Thornton. Jamison.
Well, they're a man down, Port Adelaide, because they interchanged at probably the wrong time, which meant that the Blues could work it here because they had the overlap.
Dygan. Well worked. Right.
Nice kick.
Heads for Murphy. He can use some toe here. Takes them on. Thinks about the goal. Thinks about a centering kick. Centering kick was on.
Beautiful work.
Eddie Betts.
That was brilliant work by Mark Murphy. In fact, it was well worked by Carlton, full stop. The interchange, they just need to address that, whether they take them off and allow that ball to come out. They've got to do it better than that, Port Adelaide. But Murphy could have handballed inboard, but he had a bigger picture in mind here, and it was Eddie Betts. What a magnificent kick.
Great kick. Great team play.
For his second, Eddie Betts. And for Carlton's biggest lead of the game, the Blues have their mojo back.
You're right, Jerry, because you had Robinson running alongside of him. It looked like he was going to go in with a handball over the top to Robinson, who would have been able to go in and kick the goal. We'll see it here. But he does it well. Draws the handball, was able to then run inside 50, give himself some time and space to hit up a nice kick. And Eddie Betts was able to finish off. And it's good for Eddie Betts. He's got 2 goals now, starting to get into this game of footy.
Just 2 goals from 7 kicks last week, Eddie Betts. And he's on track to better that this week. He's got 2 goals from 5 kicks tonight.
Carlton's last 2 goals, all emanating off that deep in defence, run from the half-back line. What we're not seeing is goals bursting from the centre. Easy goals, if you like.
Boak back to go forward. Poor handball. Logan straight to Simpson. Touch play on's the call. Walker forced to fist it. Blues have plenty of players around the ball. Judd got the initial handball out. That's got to be a free 2. Not paid. Looked a little high on Betts. Maybe he played for it. He's eaten a bit of grass. Asked the question. And almost every player in Carlton's half. Umpire screaming instructions. O'Halpin rips it out of the air. Trickles a kick to Ellard. Gets it up to Robinson. Play wide. Port Adelaide has a bye next week, so we don't want to leave anything out here. And the Blues, Brisbane Eddie had another big winnable game for this top 4 lineup. Motlop, not all the fans enjoying it as you saw. Trengo, there's a lot of footy to be played in this yet. Jacobs, caught, got the kick away. Thomas left it behind. Tackle on Gibbs. Simpson.
Nice tackle and then work by Simpson. He's been quiet this turn. That was just his second possession.
Murphy, Curnow, Carazzo, Jamison to the open side. They peel. Cut off though. Broadbent thumped it down. Pettigrew. Chaplin, the old 1-2 works well. They've got players streaming towards goal. Westhoff, he can give it off. Boak takes them on. Yaron came at him. He slides it home. Instant reply for Port.
Great rebound goal from Port Adelaide. They had in their control the Blues, but they gave it away. And big defensive punch, Jono.
Yeah, this one here, that was the one that turned the ball over. And then we're able to get it running and get some drive going. But it was a hard flat kick this time inside forward 50, which then allowed a mark to Westhoff, who was running back well and gave a nice unselfish handball to Boak, who finished off a very good team goal.
Massive Carlton fan as a kid, Travis Boak, from Brad Johnson territory down at Torquay. And he's in full flight. And Port Adelaide need a few of their midfielders to be in full flight. Garlett in full flight here. Wide ball. White bouncing away. Alapate Carlisle deliberately but well disguised. 50 plays 48. Both teams coming off wins last week. Carlton big winners over the Demons. Port over the Tigers in Darwin. So both coming into this on the up. And from the outset, it's been tight. There hasn't been more than 2 goals between them from the opening bounce. Thornton back with it. Danger signs here for the Blues. That sits a little. Yaron, Digan, shuffled out. Great tackle, Russell. Tied up Trengove. Forced a kick, but didn't hit the target. Big collision off some hands, towed away by Pearce. Digan through some traffic. Yaron sidesteps and is away. Clean set of heels, long kick, weight on the end of it. Almost an arm slap free. Chaplin handballs it back. Pittard. They put Adelaide with 3 men on the rebound now. Surgeon, Corns, Trengove, cut off Robinson.
That was gone for a goal. That was his finest effort for the night. He's had a few of them.
Russell, Jamison, Scotland can get and go. Spare man over the top is Simpson, who will have to hold this up. Although he sees Judd now on the outlet. Judd, sidestep. Can he hit a chest? Garland the target, missed him. Garland with 3 to beat. Logan on hands and knees, well tied up by Carlton. Blues around him, want him to get it out. He shuffles it out, has the shot at goal. Outside of the foot, maybe a little selfish out on the full.
Well, even Chris Judd there just had problems thinking it through with the forward line set up as it is. They're all outnumbered, Carlton. They've got more numbers bringing the ball in, but Port Adelaide have consistently dropped a few blokes back, blocking up the hole.
Westhoff, Brogan, Hampson, they're all out there. Digan, Poise, Gibbs. And they can reload.
It's almost, Jono, as if Carlton have to go back and play like they did in that first quarter against Geelong. Hit the lead-up pass, don't long bomb, because they're folding back really well, Port Adelaide's defence.
And that's when they've looked most effective, and I think they need weight a bit more to keep coming at the footy. Walker's been the only one for Carlton to do that.
Carlton messed that up. Gray hits Schultz. And he's held up. Schultz calling for a short pass option. And he missed the initial one. And Gray, the man who got it to him, got it in the end. Broadbent. Cautious build-up. Thumps it long. Trengove gets back. Good one-on-one. Jamison clever.
Geez, he did that well.
Trengove tries to smother. Long kick. Sits a little. Pittard. Good contest with Simpson. Ball hits the deck. Thomas, hard at it. Jacobs tried to manufacture a handball, wasn't really there. Gibbs. It's been played at this pace from the outset. Dygan wide. Scotland kept his feet, goes back again. Carazzo, a step on Pittard. Side in that dummy, short to Judd.
This is where they need the lead up you're talking about, Jared.
Judd do a one-on-one. Wait forced to fist it. Murphy bursts through. It opens up. Sends it inside 50. Wide ball. Good ball. All depends on what Garlett does. He rolls it along the ground again. Tried to manufacture something that wasn't there. Outside of the foot. That's disastrous. Horrendous. Call it what you like. It might be coming back though. It bounces out of play fortuitously for Port Adelaide.
Deliberate.
Okay, it will be coming back.
Well, whatever Jeffrey Garlett is thinking, he's going to cost his side 4 points if he keeps that sort of work up.
Pumped forward again. Walker, he was on his own. It takes an easy marker, will line up for goal number 5.
Well, that was just too clever by a half. The handball was on. As we take a look at what it turns out to be, which is a deliberate defensive kick. Yeah, hard to argue with that.
Pushed around on the angle, Andrew Walker.
Boys, Michael Jamieson in a bit of trouble. He's come off again with that lower leg injury.
So they might use their sub. It'll be the first game of Zach Tui for the Blues. The Irishman might come on. But all eyes on Walker. Spectacular. Blues by 8.
Well, the Blues are out in front, but by no means are they home. For mine, Carlton are in front because of better skill. Port Adelaide are still in this hunt because they're working a bit harder. And right now with Michael Jamieson in doubt on the boundary line, they are going to potentially lose one of their key structural pillars.
Yeah, look, they could. And Walker with just a clinical finish there. He's kicked the ball extremely well. 5 goals for the night so far.
Boys, Carlton have activated their sub. Michael Jamieson has put on the red vest and Andrew Moore's into the game.
In fact, with Zach Tui, it'll be Jacko Andrew Moore. Port Adelaide sub, Zach Tui into the action. Thomas in the meantime takes off from the middle, hands it over, Broadbent, spears it wide. Robbie Gray the target, Gibbs, clever fist.
Done well, Gibbs, on Robbie Gray. Right now, Gray without a goal. Hasn't had a major influence on the match.
There he is, the Irishman, Zach Tui. Comes from tough stock. His father, Noel, for 30 years, a maximum security warden in Ireland. Don't mess with him. Ball back into play. Port Adelaide still a chance. Wide, though. Out of play on the full. And Mum and Dad, by the way, are here to see his debut. Father Noel and Mother Marie, which is great news. Here's the Jamieson injury, the reason he's coming on.
Oh, it's rolled again.
Yep.
Got caught underneath the Port Adelaide player.
Dygan, wide. Caught with the numbers. Brogan can't jump. The Achilles is gone. Over the top towards Corns. Couldn't quite trap it. All knocked away. Pearce wipes the sweat from his brow and they'll reset. Scotland, who's been in hot form again this year. It's like the mini skirt of football. He's back in fashion. Long kicking player, kicking to position. Back in vogue. Not that it should have ever gone out of fashion. Pearce hands it up. Pittard from 40. And he misses. Scraps in for a behind for Jasper Pittard. (56-49) and everybody takes a breath. Critical battle for both teams. Brogan, Hampson going at it from the outset, and that kind of tells you the story. It's been tight between the two of them. Arnfield takes off, runs the wing. Pearce tries to cut him down, just got there, but the kick precise. So Waite inside 50, thinks about going back for the shot. Judd's short, is ignored, and there is the latest Irishman to enter AFL footy, Zach Tui.
Well, he's ignored 3 or 4 passes now, so he's got to go back and slot this one.
Umpire Matt Stevick called time off to push him around.
Wind going to blow it from right to left.
He had another one then.
And he kicked for the Breeze. Breeze did what he thought it would do, but he started too far right. Played 21 minutes, third term. You hear the interchange stewards confirming that change. Broadbent from the kick in. Just overcommitted. And 50. Didn't hand it back. And Broadbent we brought to about 80 metres from goal. This is Carlton's equal biggest margin of the game, 8 points. Port Adelaide led earlier by 2 goals. He floats it long. Schultz has hardly seen it. Thumped away by Thornton, down to Scotland. Clever punch back to Thornton. Back towards Yaron. Takes on Phillips. Forced to kick. Splendid kick. Robinson, and they're away. Carazzo on the open side. Pokes it wide. Walker. 5 goals to his name. He's been the saviour. Robinson back again to Walker, and he takes on Modler. Along the boundary and wide. Wait. Just misread that. Alapate Carlisle attacked it well. Pearce. It's around Curnow, who's bumped off it. Tackling's not his forte right now, Curnow, with those 2 strap shoulders. Pearce, it's a floater, disastrous kick, and Russell takes the mark. Back with the flight, no 50.
Well, that's the last 2 going forward for Port Adelaide, where they've turned the ball over with some poor kicking. Broadbent, when he had the 50, had the opportunity, had a couple of forwards trying to work for each other to get each other free, but went long to a contest, which just didn't work out for them.
Murphy, Yaron, Arnfield, Motlop, too high. See it again. One to the ear. Scotland. Just corralled by Surgeon, didn't come at him, and that allowed a free kick to wait. Is he beyond his range? To the hot spot, top of the square, sits it up. Hampson's down there. Logan back with the fly.
Well, that's twice. If he had lowered his eyes, well, he would have been able to hit Simpson.
Robinson turnover, and this could hurt. This for the biggest lead of the game.
Once again, the Port Adelaide decision-making, stroke skill that has let them down. I think they've worked probably harder than Carlton for the majority of the game. The last 5 minutes, Carlton have started to free up a couple of players from defence, but those sorts of turnovers, Jono, absolutely kill you. A couple of bad free kicks, a 50-metre penalty.
For the biggest lead of the game, and he bends that way left. Just scrapes in for a behind. Turns 22 years of age this week, Mitch Robinson. It's game number 36 for him. Logan. Inside 3 minutes to three-quarter time. Port Adelaide playing to keep their season alive. Brogan can't run at that at all. Dyke an easy mark. Gives it off to Arnfield. Port essentially a man down right now. Logan, poor entry. And they might have to make their sub as well. Port Adelaide sub Andrew Moore has got some height about him. Sits it on Brogan, who can't jump. Forced to fist. Allowed to roll out.
And Jared, it's been the contested possession in this quarter that has allowed Carlton to take control of the match up to this point, leading 34-23.
Carlton trying to establish themselves as a top 4 reality. Hampson knocked down. Carazzo clever. Robinson just missed the last shot. Shorts the pass. Sensational. Eddie Betts.
Well, that was brilliant. The best handball of the night from Carazzo.
He's had 17 of them, Jared.
Yeah, he's been terrific. He just handballed to a voice then.
He's had the job on Boak tonight. Boak's got the goals, had 15, but Carazzo's been able to be quite proactive off him.
2 goals so far tonight for Eddie. And in the shadows of three-quarter time, this is a massive kick. Breeze pushing that. Only a behind. Carlton keeping Port Adelaide in it.
Yeah, didn't kick it with much conviction there, Eddie. He just poked at that one.
Jacobs not Port Adelaide's usual kick-in man. Oh, and bangs it. Again, in the broken direction, almost a free. Knocked down Murphy to Judd to try and set it up. Chips it wide on the attacking 50. Scotland, superb.
And well done by Unfield too to protect him and then get out of the way. No one big until the long bomb too. Judd saying get it in, he's free.
There's 30 players inside Carlton's defensive and Carlton's attacking 50. Again, massive pack goes up. Pettigrew comes down with it. Handball in the Logan direction. Robertson bumps him off it. Hands to Walker. Thought about a centering kick. Robinson does centre it. Ellard the target. Got it. So David Ellard has the opportunity to stretch this lead to 16 for the first time tonight.
Gotta love Robinson's body work there, Jerry. Just able to get a body in and then get the ball back from a handball from Walker and use it well. It's been very good. He's had 26, Robinson, tonight.
If you've joined us late, Port Adelaide led at quarter time by 5 points. Port led at half time by 3 points. Strikes that nicely. And the cream might be rising to the top at AAMI Stadium.
Well, they needed that just to break Port Adelaide. They've missed their last couple of set shots, Carlton, leaving the door open, as you said, Dwayne, for Port Adelaide in this contest. And look, the door is still open, but it's the contested possession, it's the hard ball gets that has allowed Carlton to take control in this third quarter, and they take a handy lead into three-quarter time.
Boys, that was Carlton's fourth goal kicker with Walker, Garlett and Betts. So not really troubling the scorers. Weight and help and really need to get in the game. Use I guess their size and their figure down there and kick a couple of goals.
Time enough for a clearance and a score for either side here. Ball up. Shepherding. Carlton free. Clock stops at 13.
Well, as you said, Dwayne, Dean Brogan can't jump, so he's just trying to body Sean Hampson.
The umpire well and truly aware of that. It's it wide. It's the first kick for Zach Toohey. If he has a kick, he had a bounce. The Irishman. First touch. Play on. He might cause a turnover goal. No, he won't. Or will he? The mark's paid. No, it's not. After the siren. The Irishman has a bit of Irish luck. On three-quarter time at AAMI Stadium. He gets a pat on the head for his trouble. It's the Blues by 16, 9-11-65 to 7-7-49. Chaplin, the old 1-2 works well. They've got players streaming towards goal. Westhoff, he can give it off. Boak takes them on. Yarrett came at him. He slides it home. Direction, Robertson bumps him off it. Hands to Walker. Thought about a centering kick. Robinson does centre it. Ellard the target. Got it. Strikes that nicely. And the cream might be rising to the top at AAMI Stadium. There hadn't been more than 2 goals between these two teams for the entire game until David Ellard kicked that late goal in the third. And the Blues lead by 16 at three-quarter time, 9-11-65. Port Adelaide 7-7-49. Manny Primus with some work to do. He was late out of the box, just having a look at the numbers and figures. And will he roll the dice here and try and attack this game from the outset? They certainly did that in the third, and they couldn't punish Carlton on the scoreboard. Let's head downstairs. Glenn Jakovich.
Thanks very much, Dwayne. Well, Mitch Robertson had a fantastic third quarter. He really exerted himself on the contest. He had 11 touches. A majority of those were contested. Really got Carlton going through the middle of that third quarter. You see just his courageous contest here. It was a fantastic fly for the ball. Didn't win the possession, and certainly hurt himself a little bit, but really got Carlton going. Also, boys, I can confirm that Andrew Moore has been activated for Port Adelaide for O'Shea. Cameron O'Shea comes out of the game, boys, but good work there by Mitch Robertson for Carlton in that third quarter.
Well, he's got to get something out of a couple of his key forwards. Matthew Promise, Robbie Gray and Jay Schultz. Only had 10 kicks between them. Kicked 1 goal between them. And if they're to be a genuine chance, you reckon, Jono, they'd have to have some influence along with Daniel Motlop.
Yeah, Motlop started the game well, didn't he? And has just floated out of it.
And to make it even tougher to start this final term, the rain has come. Moore, the sub, just on, gets a touch. Carlisle to half forward. Pearce lays a high tackle. Curnow's ball. Yaron. Shorty wants to do. Chips it. Simpson got his hands out in front. Curnow rolls it toward the wing. Murphy didn't want to take it out. Curnow takes it on. Spears to half forward through the hands of Waite. But as I said, it's raining. It'll be a slippery ball right now. Yaron corralled. Gets some help from Judd. Little Shepherd waited and gave to Waite.
Good control football there from Yaron. Did it well.
And they might reap the water, though. Murphy drops it. Phillips back with it against the run. Hand up. Judd hasn't kicked a lot of goals this year. That's across the face. It might be a pass to Betts. Thumped away by Pittard. Betts, Pittard, boundary.
Even Chris Judd, Dwayne, he wants to bend it around the corner. Rarely see Chris Judd do that. He almost invariably straightens up and kicks a drop pump.
As I said,
particularly with a wet ball.
4 goals, 10 this year for the champ, who is the favourite for the Brownlow again this year for a third. Here he is on cue. Gets the handball up to Robinson. Bangs it on the boot, but it's wide. Waite pushed in that marking contest.
You're both holding. You're both holding. I can't play free kick to 1 if you're both holding.
There's your explanation. Can't play a free kick to 1 if you're both holding.
I reckon the umpires, the Ruckman's union would probably query that.
Hampson flicks it down. Slipped through the grass. Eddie Betts slips through traffic, hands it up, and Andrew Walker kicks goal number 6.
Well, it's like a Hoover there. He just scooped that up or vacuumed it up.
Just a fumble there from Brogan. And Eddie Betts was able to capitalise. And Walker gets number 6. Just got through 2 tackles there.
Jeez, he's in the wars, Dean Brogan. His hands are gone.
Brogan off. He's got a split hand. He's got a crook knee. And he's got an Achilles that doesn't work.
He's going well, isn't he?
He is. And he's 33 years of age almost. And it might be all over at the end of this year. And let's hope he gets the hero send-off if it is. Judd gets it up. Hampson. Boak. Haven't surrendered yet, Port Adelaide. Knocked out Robbie Gray. Barrels that forward. Bounces it to half forward. Straight through a couple, including Jacobs. Schultz gathers. Jacobs was there for the handball. He ignored him. Motlop's going to have to go. He was bumped out of that. And Thornton takes the mark.
He's a great mark from Brett Thornton.
A couple to beat. Gibbs pumps that wide to Murphy, who is away if he wants to. And you bet he wants to. Bounces on the slippery turf. Rain continues to pump down. Half forward. Betts, hasn't he turned it on? From outside 50, shorts it. Walker again. Fumbles it. Carlisle. He needs to hit a target. Straight through Chaplin. Slippery ball. Bidding a couple. More knocked off it. Judd spins out of trouble. Hands it up. Waite. This could be the killer blow. Misses.
Well, Chris Judd, he loves the last quarter.
Oh, yeah.
As he started well.
And a third Brownlow medal. It wouldn't look bad alongside his name. He's Ian Stewart, Bobby Skilton, Dick Reynolds, Hayden Button. And his turnover could be a goal with ease to Garlett. And that hurts.
Yeah, that was a nasty one. Actually gives us a bit of time to talk about Jared Waite, John. He's just got to learn somehow, I think, to relax more in the forward line. That last shot of goal he had, it was almost as if he lost conscious control of where he was at and where the game was at. He wasn't under pressure. There was an option inside, and the big boomerang around the corner. It just doesn't produce results in big games.
No, you're right. As he comes for a spell, and Brett Ratton has a chat to him as we speak. But he's only going at 33%, and that's on the back of 4 points today. So he has had his opportunities to hit the scoreboard in terms of goals and hasn't been able to convert. And you're right, it's conversion in finals when the pressure's on, which is critical.
Rain continues to pump down here at AAMI. Thomas breaks his way through, gives to Gray. Sends it inside 50, misses a couple. Motlop tried to shimmy and tried to fake his own player. Gibbs equal to him, almost clever than him. He gets it out. Corns. Jacobs, 3-metre kick to Moore. Floats it up and Dygan stands under it.
He's been a terrific recruit, this bloke, hasn't he?
He's been outstanding.
What a pickup.
And he's a clever footballer. He's a mature footballer, and you know he's got that master's degree in psychology. He's also an alcohol counsellor. They got him a couple of years too late. Short pass, Russell. Back in port. He was heading overseas to become an alcohol and drug counsellor before he got the call up from the Blues to come and play AFL footy. Thornton, outer side, short, Scotland. He just puts it up high. Port Adelaide with the numbers here. Surgeon half held. He tries to go off the deck. Simpson in this driving rain keeps it alive. Centering ball back into the hot spot. Robinson dives and takes the mark.
How is it down there, Joko?
It is pelting down, straight down, Jared, so it's very heavy now.
Well, we've seen the highlights when we come back after three-quarter time of Mitch Robinson, and he copped a heavy hit after attacking the contest with his head hitting the ground, then went back with courage into the pack a few minutes later to take a mark and dives forward, and hopefully he'll capitalise on some good play from the Blues.
Dead centre. It's raining goals for Carlton.
Well, they just haven't looked like it in this last quarter, Port Adelaide, as much as they were, I think, almost the best side in the first half. Scoreboard said so. I think most of the other stats said so. They really have just trailed off, Jono, with a couple of flutters in that third quarter, but right now not a shot fired in the last.
Yeah, they are going up and down on the one spot at the minute. But Jared, I have to look back to Darwin, I think, last week, because having played there over the last few years, it does take it out of you, the amount you sweat and the fatigue that does come with the travel to Darwin. So I think that's played a part, certainly in the second half.
We've got a major issue with Dean Brogan. There has been blood pouring out of there. It's a pretty nasty gash in his hand or split of the webbing.
Soccer off the deck to half forward. O'Halpin, he waited for Motlop to come and tackle him there. So a free kick, Zach Toohey. The Irishman was about to get a possession, and he will get one.
Well, he was stiff with his first one, Brian. I've never seen that happen before when the ball bounces over the back of your head.
It's a different shape to the one he's used to in Ireland. Jared.
It was a pretty good kick from all reports.
And that's a good kick to Russell. Scotland spears that to the wing. Play on was the call first, and then he took the mark from Hayden Kennedy. Murphy. And Arnfield on the outer side. Everything in Carlton's favour since three-quarter time. Port Adelaide has not scored in this final term, which is now 9 minutes old. The Blues have kicked the last 5 goals of the game, and the rain continues to tumble. Garland took that out. Even the fans seeking cover in any way and shape they can.
That's dedication, Dwayne. That's loyalty.
From the ball in, Scotland throws the handball out, and it's good to see a bit of Port Adelaide loyalty. A few of them were here early to see their old Port Magpies play the curtain raiser in their SANFL game against the team wearing exactly the same jumper as Carlton. Sturt. No trademark from Sturt, obviously. Carlton wearing it with pride here. And now 14 minutes from full time, and the Blues confirming they are a top 4 contender. And this will help Brett Ratton's cause immensely. Fumble from Curnow. And now it's coming down by the bucket load.
Can barely see the other side of the ground. It's raining that hard.
Let's go down to the boundary line, Jacko. Can you give us a first-hand indication how this is coping?
Very wet.
Gives it up.
How you are coping, I should say.
Carazzo, Scotland. That's how slippery it is. Yaron, Hansen, caught by the leg. Scotland. It's almost hail. Players shooting their eyes from it right now.
Look at the hardcore supporters still sitting out there in this rain.
It may be safer to sit than run for the car.
That's right.
Oh, that's how slippery it is. He played on and it slipped out of his hand. Hunfield will get a ball in.
Riz is still standing, Brian. He's still there. He's working.
Riz, there's Jacko sitting in the cover.
There's 45 of us in here, boys.
Bottom line is it'll be 4 points for the Blues. Judd, Thomas, worn him like a second skin. Judd's been able to get away at times. Yaron, Scotland. And it's been sensational again. Half forward, Russell, Broadbent, Surgeon. And with 2 to beat, it was an impossible ask.
That's amazing.
For Phillips.
It's
It's
gone.
nice and dry now, boys.
Well, they've got the player out on the other wing.
Gibbs wide. And scoots off over the line. Double change for Port Adelaide. Little bump from Logan as Simpson comes back on. There's your disposal numbers. Mitch Robinson surprisingly leading with 29. Back into play. Brogan continues to fight on. Carazzo, handball out. Yaron wobbles it inside 50. Caught behind was Walker. He's joined us late. He's got 6 goals to his name. Murphy shorts it over the head of Curnow. Walker running back in. He protected it and it rolls through.
And a fair celebration from Murphy to Max. Haven't seen that before from Mark Murphy, but look, just the luck there. Got the ball inside 50, really tried to kick it to advantage of his teammate, and then was able to skid the ball through for a very nice goal, Jared.
Well, the only time that our footy behaves like a soccer ball is when it's wet and it skids straight. Always has, always will.
Well, caps off a nice game for Mark Murphy with that goal. He's had 28 disposals, 13 of those have been contested today.
Is he on the verge of signing a new deal?
Yeah, I think it may have even been signed and they're just waiting for the right time from a PR perspective, Dwayne, to see if they can put it to bed from all reports.
So you're telling me it's been done. He's staying?
That's what I've been told.
Okay, well, this will do his cause no harm. Another great performance today after a 31 possession game last week. Boak slides in, tried to scoot it out. Curnow in his first game back. It was interesting. He was tackled, he dropped it, and then was deemed to be not in possession. Back with the flight, Pittard. And this will end up being a percentage boosting win for the Blues after they were under the pump for 3 quarters in this. Schultz. Thought about playing on quickly. So the rain's still coming down, but it's a lot lighter. Pittard, disastrous to the pocket. So the umpire's trying to work out whether that's out on the full or not. All the umpires don't know.
Does anyone else have any information? Just wait. Did you see anything? You can see. Go for the lesser. Go for the lesser. Go the lesser.
Okay.
Got it right, the boys.
They did in the end.
With the go for the lesser,
Go
yes.
for the lesser, got it right.
Not allowed to go for the video replay, of course. Give it time. Thomas hit high. Judd.
Just haven't got the footy in this quarter, Port Adelaide. Jono, they've just totally been swamped.
They have 29 disposals only for the quarter at 50%. So only half hitting the targets, where Carlton's had 56 possessions, up around 70% in this quarter. The quality certainly has come to the top
It's been a good crowd relatively for Port Adelaide, over 23,000 here for this one. Adelaide kicks it wide. Port Adelaide have been struggling to get crowds in excess of 20,000. They don't make a profit here at AAMI Stadium with a crowd of 20,000, unlike Geelong at Skilled Stadium, which is a little disappointing for them. Their stadium deal here is with the SANFL-owned AAMI Stadium, and the SANFL also own Port Adelaide's licence, but 23,000 should get them a check. Westhoff dives in. Blues now rotating players and hoping for no injuries. That scoots past Robbie Gray and out of play. And the Blues entrenched on the top echelon of the AFL ladder, and they have Brisbane Lions at Etihad Stadium next week. So after beating Port Adelaide, essentially the bottom team tonight, they face another bottom place team next week. Murphy again extracts it. Betts through traffic, tried to manufacture something that wasn't there. Phillips gets it up. Broadbent bangs it to full forward, and he's been outstanding, Thornton. Another win for him. Dygan tucked into the boundary, wobbles the kick outside 50. Motlop misread that, and he has misread a few since quarter time. Short from Simpson, and they are dominant. Scotland long. Well-placed kick for Eddie Betts. He couldn't quite muscle Pettigrew under the ball.
Good running from Eddie. He was up at centre half back on the other side of that contest, and he charged forward. He's continued to build his engine, and he's reaping the rewards in this second half of his career.
Jared, the difference between Port's first and second half has just been their inability to take a risk through the middle of the ground. First half, they were able to do that. Second half, they've more gone around the boundary line.
Robinson kicks forward. Pettigrew, surely. He thinks he touched it. Robinson's pleading that he didn't.
He did touch it, surely.
Yes, he is confirming that he touched it, but the goal umpire equal to the drama of the occasion there. Carlton entrusted with the kick in. Crowd dispersing. Disappointing finish for Port Adelaide, given that they led at quarter time and at half time. Long kick outside 50. Halpin hasn't seen much of it tonight. Tries for the top of the square, goes a bit further out than that. Russell couldn't take the mark. Dygan comes in, centering kick, hits the hot spot. Ellard goes up, Eddie Betts almost the mark. Tried to claim it. Judd waiting for it. Modlob gets back, sidesteps Simpson, and tries to show some magic again. Brogan floats it wide.
Don't think he'd be feeling too much with that hand of his.
No,
Brogan?
nothing at all.
No. 91 plays 49.
Just off Chapman's hand.
Still could have attempted
Carlisle's
to claim
hand.
it had you held it. Gone up with it, even though some AFL coaches might call you a cheat. Certainly most players would try and claim it and see what you can get away with. Or Thomas played on into trouble. Hardlett shorts it. Everyone slipping over. Yaron almost throws that out. Judd bumps his way through, and he stood on the foot of Robinson. Curnow floats it wide. Dygan, he can take off if he wants to. Walker wants a 7th goal. Wants a career best. Curnow back again to Dygan. Walker short. He's ignored. It's longer than that. Murphy, little bump. Eddie Betts tries to set up Murphy. Spectacularly good off hands. No goal. And
Just needed to go one. Yeah, just had to go round him. The balk was definitely on. Was brilliant from Eddie though. Here's the two Blues just bumping into each other. Nothing serious there.
That's when Matty Prime must be disappointed with only one goal since half-time for Port Adelaide. Just lost all their run and drive, Jared.
I reckon what's obvious though watching this game is just how much Carlton rely on Chris Yaron off half-back. In the first half he'd had just 6 possessions, and in the second half he's had 17 odd, and I reckon he's created 3 or 4 goals in that third term with his run. That was really important to get them getting their set up right in that forward line.
Carazzo short. Arnfield So we're about to tick into time on final term, and Port Adelaide has not scored this quarter. Wide ball to Russell. He could load up from just outside the paint. Just a light drizzle at the moment at AAMI Stadium.
And his challenge, of course, Jono, is exactly what you said earlier about having a look at McLeod. I mean, everyone knew how dangerous McLeod was, both as a young player and then when he went back there on the half-back flank as a senior player.
Russell sits it up a little. And Brogan couldn't even prop there on his Achilles. Through for a behind.
And that's to be able to defend at the top level if he gets taken to the goal square, but also still try and maintain that attacking drive so important to Carlton.
Well, that's right, and be a little bit more proactive, because the defensive player is going to come with him, and there he'll be able to dictate at least his starting point, so then defensively he can do the job, but then get off an attack, which he's very good at doing. And that's what Andrew McLeod was the best at. If he did get dragged back to the goal square, yes, he could defend there, but he wouldn't stay there for very long.
Play on was the call. As Scotland goes the fifth. Yaron gets a Shepherd sidestep, and again bends it around the body, and some cream on the cake.
Right on cue, Jared.
Almost goal of the day, that one. This was a pretty difficult setup all round, because he had to pick up the very slippery ball, go round a player, and I think you can justify bending it round on that occasion. Yeah, it's a pretty good goal. And he is going to get the attention of 16 other coaching panels when they do the dealings with the Blues.
It's hard to believe the margin is out to 50 points. But class kicked in, and the Blues had the majority of the class after half-time. 22 minutes gone, final term. Down to Boak. Inside 50, Phillips pursues it, but again, three Blues around him. Tries to keep it in. Does so. Surgeon went low. Robinson also low. Get a ball in.
You've got to love Mitch Robinson's commitment to the contest.
Phillips hurt. Brogan still rucking. Hampson, as we said, cruiser. And maybe Robbie Warnock back for the Blues next week. So Hampson playing for his footy life right now. It's a Blues ball. Moore thought he was going to be able to play on to advantage. And Scotland's ball.
Well, that was, I guess, one, Dwayne, that emphasised your query in the first and second quarter, where a player missed the ball when he tried to kick it, and that time he paid it differently, the umpire.
Yes, there's a lot of grey areas in our game. That's too high. That's definitely not a grey area. Brogan collecting him in the ear. Simpson. Ed Kerno dances around Boak, sends it long, and the fist from Pittard knocks it out of play. So Justin Westhoff, 3 goals in the opening term. He's barely seen it since. Andrew Walker, 3 goals in the opening term. 3 goals since. 6 goals straight for Andrew Walker today. And the Blues will get their 7th win of the season. Robinson, yet another possession. Simpson sits it up. O'Halpin looks around, realises it might have been his ball. Garlett hunts it down. Thought about the pass option, goes to Kerno, backtracks, didn't want to go for goal, back to Yaron. He has a chat to Gibbs, and Gibbs says you can go and get it. Pass it to me if you can. So it does.
Just there, Jake.
And it's in training drill mode. Short again.
Where you are, Jasper.
Adelaide.
Move out.
A very valuable goal just before three-quarter time. He spears to the pocket. Judd had 3 men on him. The best of options, ball in.
Not sure on the value of those kicks in these weather conditions, Jono. Spearing it to a bloke who's on the angle, then he's got to either kick a miraculous goal or kick it to the top of the square. You might as well just go to the top of the square as is.
I think it was more who was coming at him, and Chris Judd being the captain.
Captaincy rights.
That's right. Went straight for him.
You use those on a regular basis?
No, not at all.
Oh, okay.
Hampson long. O'Halpin can't get a run at it. Brogan can't mark it. Walker lurking behind the pack. Wants a 7th goal. So trying to track down a career best. Couldn't grab it. Little tap out. Carlton does. Had it. Lost it. Lost it again. Logan. Carlton lays a tackle on him. Westhoff shields his eyes from the lights. Tries to mop up his mess. Ball still alive. Irishman Zach Tui couldn't get it away. Hartlett does. Corns. Westhoff. Corns. Port Adelaide stuck on 7-7. Their 3/4 time score. And we've played 25 minutes final term.
Jared, Daniel Motlop got off to a good start, had 8 possessions in the first quarter, and then in the second half he's found himself down back. Do they put him in a position where he can settle?
Oh, I don't think you can when you're playing in a game where you've been so dominant, Jacko, to half-time. The coach has got to try and find something that works when you've... What have they kicked since half-time, Dwayne, Port Adelaide? A couple of goals?
1 goal. 1 goal, 3.
They were 6-4 at half-time. They're now 7-7. Russell short, and for those who joined us late, Carlton was 5-7 at half-time. They're now 14-15. Robinson with possession number 34. Pumps it to half forward. Curnow tackle, didn't really have it. Simpson looks up, heads to the square, across the face. Garlett reaches and gets.
Well, that was just brilliant football all round. Simpson's pick-up, cut, and then delivery was as good as this mark turned out to be. Wet ball, John. You don't get mark of the week for that, but I haven't seen any better this weekend than that one.
That was a very good grab.
For his 3rd, they have sparkled since half-time, the Blues.
But you mentioned the kick of Simpson, and they had a couple in the 3rd quarter as well. A couple were sent it to Eddie Betts.
Yep.
And it's like they made a conscious effort at half-time to share the ball around, start using each other in better positions. And it was a great kick. And there's your mark you spoke about, Jared. With a wet ball. He's handled that very well.
That's a great mark. And great camera work as well.
$56 points the margin. And still virtually 3 minutes to add to that for the Blues. Can Port Adelaide actually get a score for the quarter? They might get an inside 50 here at least. Boak. Port's stuck on 7-7. Trengove. Down to 2.5 minutes.
And this is what they've done in the second half. They've had the ball in the middle of the ground with an opportunity to get it going forward inside 50, and they've come wide.
Pearce centering kick. Schultz couldn't mark. Hartlett comes up with it, throws that out. Thomas tried to hack it off the deck. Zach Tui gathers, and the Irishman bangs it wide. It might be coming back. Pittard takes the mark. Hands it up straight away. Jacobs hemmed in. Scotland came at him. Surgeon just puts it up in hope. Robinson with the fist. Took a little bit of Phillips with him. Walker lending a hand in defence. Yaron tries to break free and does. Hands it over to Russell. Here they go on the break. Big opportunity. Yaron handball smothered. He had players streaming forward. Russell slaps it on. Adelaide, players still streaming forward. Curnow gets there. Short passes on. He ignores Walker. And he goes wider, and Carl takes the mark.
Well, you called a training drill earlier, Dwayne. I think you're spot on. That's what it's been reduced to, but once again we see just highlighted the potential of Carlton's running back, Chris Yaron.
Great tap on there from Russell, right there. Kept forward momentum going. You had the support there.
Garleth for his 4th. It'll be 3 for the quarter. Splendid. They have demolished Port in the second half.
Yeah, it was an all-up bet in many ways in that first half. They couldn't break Carlton's spirit. They couldn't break them by enough of a gap to, I think, keep the legs running. And as soon as Carlton got on top, Jono, whatever fatigue was left post the Darwin experience has robbed them of any enthusiasm, and they have just fallen right away.
Carlton now with a big opportunity over the next month of footy to really even push even higher up the ladder.
Top two?
Yeah, look, you can't see Geelong and Collingwood really getting beat at this point, but points-wise, Carlton are going to continue to push.
They're not done with yet. Russell tackled and holding the ball. Some of the crowd have stuck around. Pittard. Blues fans that have made the trip, seen that trip pay off. Free kick, and it'll be Surgeon's ball on the other side. So a 10-goal victory coming up. 62 points as it stands right now. Wide ball to Westhoff.
I think still one of the most interesting questions of the year is what is the return of Cruiser going to do to this group? How does it change mechanics? How does it change what happens at the back line? They've got Houlihan to come in, who's a very attacking and creative defender as well. Underrated. His disposal is so important in high-quality games. Yet Cruiser's down there, so we know that's going to impact on Satanda, on the rucks, and possibly even Jared Waite.
Armfield couldn't pick it up. The dying seconds. Been an outstanding second half for the Blues. It took a while, but class kicked in. Andrew Walker with a career best 6 straight goals, and the Blues after half-time demolished Port Adelaide, who led by 3 points at the half. But Carlton held Port goalless in the final term, and only 1 goal in the second half for Port Adelaide. 16-15, 111 to Port Adelaide, 7-7-49. A disappointing finish for the home team, but Carlton is a team to be reckoned with.
No doubt about that, Dwayne. It's only a question of when we get the opportunity to see them up against the top 2 sides again, the top 3 sides again, Jono. But they can only do what they're doing, and that is to continue to develop young players and let them fight it out against the top sides. But they are right in this season, and they obviously mean business.
Brisbane Lions next week at Etihad Stadium for the Blues, as I said. Then Sydney at Etihad Stadium, the West Coast Eagles at Etihad Stadium, so 3 games in a row there, and then the Tigers at the MCG before the Dogs. So they've got a pretty good run, but the hero was Andrew Walker. He had a day out, a career best, and he's downstairs with Glenn Jakovich.
Thanks very much, Dwayne, and I have Andrew Walker. Andrew, 6 goals, career best for yourself.
Yeah, it's good to get the goals, but probably good by the boys to come out. We had a tough first half, so it was good to see the boys really fight out to the end and get a pretty solid victory.
I just noticed at half-time, you mentioned it was a tough start, but Chris Judd took the group before you went underground, and what did he say? Because after that, in the third quarter, he really responded.
Yeah, he basically said we knew it was going to be a pretty hard slog. So, there's a few things during the week that we sort of had to back up that had been said in the media, and, the boys really cracked in tonight, and that's what Juddy basically asked of the boys, just to go in and crack in for the second half.
You shared the goals. Jeff Garlick kicked 4, Eddie kicked 3. So, obviously, a focus to really work with the rest of the forwards.
Yeah, our strength down forward is probably our run, and the boys are pretty quick down there. So we knew if just get the ball out in front of them, then we knew we were going to be better off. So yeah, it was good.
Well done, enjoy the win, mate.
A demolition job by the Blues in the second half here at AAMI Stadium. Good crowd for Port Adelaide, 23,192. But there was a large portion of Blues fans that have made the trip. And the Blues now heading down to their end of the ground. This is fantastic to see by the Carlton players, and their faith has been replayed. Chris Judd taking them down there. Mitch Robinson, 34 possessions for him. Zach Toohey, the Irishman, a few high fives for him. Game number 1 was a win. He's about to be sprayed with Powerade. And look at that. And there's the Irish flag, which is great to see. Mum and Dad were here for his first game. And the other Irishman, Satanda O'Halpin, also high-fiving. Don't go away, Blues fans. We're back to wrap up. 60 points. The final margin, 16-15, 111 to 7-7, 49.
Yeah, they were big victors, the Blues, by 62 points. After trailing at half-time by 3, they came out and, they restricted Port Adelaide from scoring, as you can see, and blew them off the park at the other end of the ground. Jono, I didn't see the one-sided nature of it coming, but in the finish, it was a training drill for the Blues with the numbers stacking up. Mitch Robinson probably having his best day possession-wise. Murphy continued to get better as the game went on. Like Carrazzo's 4 quarters, and Heath Scotland, I think, continues to be an undersold player.
Yeah, certainly. I didn't see it coming either, Jared. To win by 62 points, great effort in the second half. Maybe Port Adelaide coming from the Darwin trip. We mentioned that during the call. Maybe that had an effect. But they just seemed to go a bit indirect in that second half, Port Adelaide. Carlton were able to capitalise on their turnovers, and away they went. They actually shared the ball better, I think, in the second half, Carlton, especially kicking the ball to advantage going forward.
You mentioned Darwin. You played up there a number of times. Did you feel it 7 days on?
Oh, yeah, a little bit, certainly. And it's more the intensity at training the following week really drops away because it comes a recovery-based week, and Port would have had their intensity up, certainly leading into a couple of those games where they needed to get the victories. Recovery week, just drop away in intensity, and then the fatigue comes with that when you play. Well,
we can now go down to the Carlton rooms. Glenn Jakovic has the coach. Jacko.
Thanks very much, Jared. I have got the victorious coach, and Brett, I mean, Port really took it up to you in the first quarter, but you responded after half-time.
Yeah, I thought the way they attacked and moved the footy sort of put us under a fair bit of pressure, but probably our inability to make the most of our inside 50s or be fairly creative, I thought we really butchered the footy going forward. So when we addressed that and maybe reduced some of their uncontested possessions, I thought we got the game on our terms.
Andrew Walker kicked 6, career best. Dwayne Russell said in his commentary he's starting to really become a consistent player.
Yeah, I think so. I think more from Andrew's point of view is something about his consistency, and we've really settled him down into one spot, and it's really allowed him to get that consistency. But playing really good footy at the moment.
Brett, Jared and Brad Johnson upstairs, congratulations on the win. But can I get some depth on your thoughts at halftime regarding the ball going into the forward line? The numbers showed that you were dominating the inside 50s. Yep. It looked to us as if it was just almost a long bombs to the old Snake Baker. How did you address it from, I guess, a technical perspective?
Oh, well, I think it was a bit of a mix. I think we had a lot of our short passes going inside 50 that hit the ground or came off skew-if and things like that. So we just had to have a little bit more composure. Port had numbers back, and we just had to maybe have a look before we actually went inside 50. And I thought we just played a bit of Russian roulette by the time, trying to beat the spare, trying to go past him and kick it perfectly. I thought we just have to have a little bit more composure and just hold that footy up a bit.
Did you feel as if players were almost assessing their personal game on goals kicked with a couple of options not given, a couple of guys going for miracle goals rather than playing the team footy that we saw in the second half?
Yeah, there was 3 of those in the first half, and they were mentioned in regards to U-turns and snaps over the shoulder instead of using the players who were facing the goals. That was addressed at half-time.
Now, Brett, hate to individualise after such a great team performance today, but Mitch Robinson, 34 disposals, probably the best game I think that he's played for Carlton. But just his intensity at the contest, you can see his other teammates just really growing around some of his efforts.
That attack on the footy towards the end of the game out sort of on the back flank there, the way he just went about it, that sort of typifies Mitch. He's hard at it, he gives everything, and what it does do, it becomes contagious for others to sort of join in, and he does that for the group, and I thought today he was outstanding.
And have you got any update on the Michael Jamieson injury? He went off during got subbed out in the third quarter. How is he?
He should be right for next week. It's just one of those ones. If we keep kept him going, we could actually hurt it more. But he should be right. And with those conditions, with the wet, the rain coming, we actually thought, their tools might not catch the footy, so we could play a smaller backline. So we looked after him. Jared's will have to be assessed. Not exactly sure, but he came off with some tightness, so we'll have to have a look at that tomorrow.
Brett, a couple of updates on a couple of Chris's. Firstly, Chris Judd didn't have a great first half, had a pretty good last quarter, finished with a tracksuit on. Is he 100% or is he carrying an injury?
No, he's fine. We were trying to maybe look after some players towards the end of the game, but it just gets really hard to, manipulate the team as you're down to sort of two men on the interchange. So that become hard. Chris is going well. Yeah, probably did struggle a little bit in the first half, but just some of these ball use and winning the ball in the second half was really pivotal in us winning the game.
And the other one, Chris Yarran, he's a developing player. We know attacking is relatively natural to him, but he was taken to the goal square a couple of times. He blew the game apart, in my view, after half-time. How do you communicate your requirements when he gets taken to the goal square?
No, he just has to defend like all our backmen, and I think it's a part of Chris's development. I think at times he's not going to get the game on his terms, and he's going to have to work through it. And I think that'll help him in the longevity of his career playing back there and making sure that he can defend first and then attack. And I think he's getting that part pretty right at the moment, the balance. But his run and with the ball in his hand is just amazing to watch, and just excites, I suppose, the coach, but also the playing group as well.
Pretty tight at the top for ruckman. You've got Cruiser and Warnock not playing. Hampson played well. You've got Satana also vying for that midfield ruck position. It's going to be tough at selection going forward.
Yeah, it is. It's a good thing to have players in form, and the depth of our football club at the moment. Yesterday, our Bull Ants, the Bull Ants won by about 8 goals, and Bauer played well as a backman. Cruiser played well. Henderson kicked 5. So the depth at our footy club at the moment is something that we've been working really hard to make sure that if someone's out, someone just fills that void, and we still get the 4 points. And it's going well at the moment, but we know there's a long road to go.
Well, it was a great win and a great second half. Brett, appreciate your time tonight.
Good on you, Jared. Brad, thanks.
Brett Ratton, coach of the Blues. Let's take a look at Chris Yarran. I'd be interested in your thoughts. You've played as an early young player on a wing. You pushed back a couple of times. I know you played international rules there a lot. And yet, essentially, his DNA says he's a forward of the centre attacking player.
Yeah, well, that's been his biggest change going back this year. It was himself and Garlett. They were the two the coming forwards, along with Eddie Betts. And I think Brett Ratton recognised that one of those three had to go back and try and create a new role. And they've certainly done that. And his run and his composure in the second half was good. Port Adelaide were able to close him down, keep him on his left side a few times in the first half. But in the second half, he was the one who certainly was able to set them alight, and it played a big role in their big victory here today.
He just looks like a bloke who'd like to play footy with Eddie Betts, and there he is just helping out Chris Yarran, who's getting an ice pack. Hopefully that's for a corky, not so much for a strain. I don't think he'd be running as fast as he was if he had a strain. But the other player, I guess, who was the star of the night was Andrew Walker, because when the Blues were struggling, he wasn't. He was one of the key lights early in the particularly in the first half.
Yeah, he was. He kicked 3 in the first half. Westhoff for Port Adelaide kicked 3 in the first quarter. Westhoff kicked 3 in the first quarter for Port Adelaide. It was who was going to go ahead with their game, and it was Walker the one to do that, finishing with 6 goals, had a hand in a couple of others, and just worked extremely hard throughout 4 quarters, and deserved to get on the end of some because of his work rate.
It is a forward line setup where you can just see the coach would be frustrated with the long kicks. I mean, they are there if the long kick option is there. Jared Wade, I don't think, is that sort of player. He's more of a lead-up player. But all of a sudden, Cruiser comes back into the goal square, sits there with his hands in the air. Jeff Garlett and Eddie Betts, they're going to come into their own. Andrew Walker may end up using Cruiser as a stepladder. We know he likes going for mark of the year, but it's a dangerous and potent forward structure.
It is. I think Walker would use Cruiser, certainly for a block, maybe add another dimension to getting himself free and getting himself some spread from his direct opponent. But the competition for spots, as you've mentioned, it's extremely healthy. With the list the way they've got at the moment, a healthy list, and with some key players coming back from injury in the reserves, look, it's going to be fantastic for Carlton over the next month or so of footy, especially if they can stay injury-free on the track. They're going to be going in hard because competition for spots is critical.
Take us through what the players are going through here, Jono.
Oh, look, basically just a stretch down. We do the same thing. Get the bands, put them around your neck, and have a quick stretch. It's nothing major, just normal practice, Stuart.
Part of the high performance.
Just part of it now.